Looking to get car or van insurance double quick? To mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. Car or van, work or play. Compare insurance with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Luker's Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on a huge day of league action across Scotland. It's as tight as can be at the top, so Celtic will look to move 3 points clear against Kilmarnock before Rangers respond at St Johnstone tomorrow. Hearts are comfortable in third and host Motherwell after their 6-goal thriller midweek. Aberdeen, Hibs, Livy St Mirren and Dundee Ross County make up the Saturday card in the top flight, with plenty more across the divisions. And you are in the company of Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
Fiery February continues with a blaze of controversy. Brendan Rodgers asked the Celtic fans for patience when they play Kilmarnock today, and they will get it, so long as they're winning against their bogey team. We're into the Russian roulette phase of the title race. One false move and you're bang in trouble when it's neck and neck. Speaking of which, what about the oddest stat of the day in the Premiership? Listen up. Aberdeen play Hibs. Both of them have won 6 games. They've both lost 10 games. And they've both drawn 8 games. They've both scored 29 goals. And they've both lost 39 goals. Which means 2 things. They've both got a goal difference of -10. And they're both rotten. Off we go.
He's done his research this afternoon.
Very good. You must have had a lot of time.
And enjoy it.
No, Lindsay Hearn in the newsroom told me.
I had that written down.
5 big games in the Premiership today, Mark Wilson. Lots happening.
Yeah, well, I think this is really when the pressure kicks in. Hugh rightly says February, things shaping up like the way they're probably going to finish, and when you're neck and neck at the top, nothing between the sides, that's when the real pressure's on the players. And Celtic are first to feel that today with a home game against Kilmarnock, who have been going well this season. But when you look down the division as well, the race for top 6 as well, and can Livy, who are home today, can they get a much needed win to keep in touch with Ross County? What a good fixtures.
I'll keep it short and sharp. There are plenty of good fixtures there today, plenty of good goals, lots of drama. Let's get on.
Yeah, I mean, well, never say that again, but also we're here until 6 o'clock, so I'm going to need you to elaborate at some point. It can't be as short and sharp as that all afternoon, but we'll let you off for now because I'm keen, as I'm sure you all are, to get round the grounds and find out who is playing for who this afternoon. 5 huge games in the Premiership. The weekend got off to a blistering start in the Championship last night. There are lots of intrigue everywhere you look. So let's get stuck right in at Celtic Park for Celtic against Kilmarnock with Gabriel.
Thanks, Gordon. Yes, Celtic start today in first place, but not with the breathing space they had a few months ago. A resurgent Rangers have pulled themselves level on points with the champions, with goals scored the only metric that can separate the two sides at the moment. And a title race that looks set to go down to the wire, Celtic know they cannot afford any more slip-ups, especially at home, and as Hugh says, especially against their bogey team. They're hopeful that they can re-establish a 3-point gap again and apply some pressure on their rivals, who of course travel to St Johnstone tomorrow lunchtime. Brendan Rodgers has been dismissing the negative narrative surrounding his team, who have won 8 of their last 9 games. And he knows that despite some performances that weren't at Celtic's free-flowing best, they are still getting the job done. And Rodgers makes just one change to the team that beat St Mirren in the Scottish Cup 6 days ago. Greg Taylor comes back in at left back. It's his first game in 4 weeks since he picked up a groin injury against Bucky Thistle. Alexandra Bernabei drops to the bench. So just give you the full starting 11. It's Joe Hart in goal, a defence of Tony Ralston, Stephen Welsh, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. It'll be Callum McGregor and Matt O'Reilly in midfield, with Daizen Maeda and Lewis Palmer on the wings. Kyogo will play just off Adam Eder. The substitutes: Bain, Nawrocki, Kuhn, Kelly, Burnaby, O, Yang, Tomoki and Bernardo. And no Leo Labada today. Roger says the 22-year-old is still not in the right frame of mind. You wonder if he will play for Celtic again. And today's opponents, Kilmarnock, are of course the only team to beat the Hoops twice domestically this campaign, and Killie have been brilliant in all of their big games this season. They're unbeaten since the winter break with 3 victories in that time. They sit 4th in the division, but manager Derek McInnes says his team won't let their foot off the gas. He says it's the team who hit form now that will secure top 6, and boosted by attacking additions in January, Killie will fancy their chances of reaching Europe. A result here, whether it be a draw or a win, would go a very long way. McInnes makes 4 changes to the team that beat Cove Rangers last weekend. Fraser Murray, Rory McKenzie, David Watson and Kevin Van Veen all dropped to the bench. Captain Kyle Vassell comes back in up top, along with Danny Armstrong, Liam Donnelly and Joe Wright. It looks like a change of formation for Killie as well. We think it'll be 4-4-2. Will Dennis will be in goal. A defence of Lewis Mayo, Stuart Finley, Corey Ndaba and Joe Wright. Danny Armstrong and Matty Kennedy will be out wide, with Liam Donnelly and Liam Polworth in the middle. Kyle Vassell and Marley Watkins are up top. Substitutes O'Hara, McKenzie, Watson, Balagizi, Murray, Davies, Stewart, Mackay-Stephen and Van Veen. The referee here is John Beaton, and Willie Collum will be on the VAR.
They're all huge games, Hugh Keevins. I could say that every week from the start of the season, but it's certainly been cranked up a bit in recent times.
That looks like a special match to me. I think Celtic have picked a very positive side. Brendan Rodgers is clearly not a happy man. He's going on about narratives and outside noises and all the rest of it. But Kilmarnock come there, never mind the fact that they've beaten Celtic twice this season already. Both of those victories came on the synthetic surface at Rugby Park. But Kilmarnock go there with good players, particularly going forward with Van Veen and Danny Armstrong and Vassell. And Celtic have a very positive team. That could be a terrific football match.
What jumps out from the team news for you, Mark Wilson? There is only minimal changes being made, I suppose. Yeah, well, firstly, Greg Taylor being back, I think he is a big player. I know he's had some criticism this season because his performance levels hasn't reached what they were last season, but there's no doubt in my mind he's better option than Burnaby. Even though Burnaby was okay last time out against St Mirren, Taylor's certainly the preferred option. But I think Brendan Rodgers sticking to what he had up top last week, I think that's a telling sign that he liked what he saw. He's liking what he's seen from Ida in training and the games he's played, and he knows he needs Kyogo in the side, because when you're struggling or perceived to be struggling or not playing your best, you need your best players in the side. There's no doubt Kyogo is one of Celtic's better players, so he's found a position for him that he can still score from. The wide areas are always of interest at Celtic. Maeda holds his place down, and so does Palma, and Palma recently hasn't really been setting the world on fire, so maybe he could be fortunate. But Hugh's right, looks like it's going to be a terrific game. Celtic certainly need to win, and if they can pair that with a performance, then the fans will certainly go home happy.
I think this could be the day that Celtic fans get both, actually. I know it'll be difficult. I do agree with the lads. I think it'll be a very exciting game. I think Derek McInnes, usually a lot of teams apart from Rangers go there, they sit in, they try and hit Celtic in the counter attack. We've seen it week in, week out. I think Kilmarnock will have a go. I think they'll fancy it. They've got good players, game changers for me. I think Derek's built a terrific squad there. But after watching Celtic last week at Paisley, there were sort of a signs there that we're starting to get back to what we know they can produce. They've worked with this Kyogo playing in that number 10 role there, got success with it. They're at home today, expecting big things. I think Celtic will win this one comfortably today.
Mark, as Hugh quite rightly pointed out, Kilmarnock have got a brilliant record against Celtic this season. Those have come at Rugby Park. They're travelling a bit better than they have from last season, but again, still some disappointing results on the road as well. Can that translate to Celtic Park, which is a different challenge?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Derek sets up his side, because at Rugby Park, he closed in spaces very well, but like Daz just touched on there, they had match winners in wide areas, and they were very quick to get the ball to the match winners in these wide areas. And they've obviously added Van Veen and Vassell's in there as well, so they've got guys that can cause problems. But when you come to Celtic Park, it is a different game. Bigger pitch, Celtic, like those surroundings, the pitch will play well. I think it'll be in better condition than we've seen this season. So the game will take on a different form. Derek McInnes will be hoping for the same outcome, but I'm with Daz in this one. I think Celtic will have enough today.
Probably in any other country, 8 wins out of 9 is actually a very, very good return. But I've been here in Scotland. I know that 8 wins out of 9 is a disaster when you're top of the league. So I just focus on what we need to do. I understand, and I get the feeling, and I understand that you have to create that, and I understand this city that the two teams can't be doing well. You know, I know you can be, when I was at Liverpool and Everton can be doing well at the same time, but that can't happen here. So one has to be pushed down, and for us it's us, because we're at the top. And we slipped up in early December, but that narrative has continued right the way through, even though the players have won 8 games, some tough games, and drawn 1 game. I can't control that. What I can control is the mindset of the team, the attitude of the team, and knowing that over this next period of games we'll be really focused and be really aggressive and attack the game. What everyone else says writes, I couldn't care less.
Huge game at the top, Celtic against Kilmarnock. We have given you the team news. We will continue the build-up, of course, as the afternoon progresses. Let's go down the table just slightly. Third place Hearts, comfortable in third, and they host Motherwell, watched by Roger Hannah.
Yeah, and they are comfortable in third, Gordon. I heard Brendan Rodgers there talking about 8 wins out of 9. We'll try Hearts, 10 wins and a draw from their last 11. It's their best run since 2015 when they were promoted out of the Championship back to the top flight. It's moved them 12 points clear of Kilmarnock in third place. And you look at the fixtures this afternoon, you wonder if that gap could widen even further if Hearts are to get a win and Kilmarnock drop anything at Celtic Park. The Jambos have had a clear week. They won 4-1 last Sunday night at Airdrie in the Cup to set up a quarter-final away at Morton. Morton, of course, the team that knocked Motherwell out the Cup last week. Well, had been in a 6-game unbeaten run before that defeat at Capello, and then there was a bizarre trip to Pittodrie Wednesday night, 3-0 up, back to 3-3. Both teams having a winner disallowed by VAR in the closing stages, but the real winner that day was Theo Bair. 8 goals now in 8 games for a reborn Motherwell striker, and he'll lead the line today. He won't be supported by Andy Halliday, on loan, can't play against his parent club, and he's even having to swap bench cam for stand cam this afternoon, because if he could have been free from the loan, he's got a calf injury and wouldn't play anyway, Gordon. So it's going to make for an interesting watch for Andy this afternoon. 4 changes for his former club, his parent club Hearts, from that Airdrie game. Out go Craig Gordon, Craig Halkett, George Grant and Kenny Vargas. In comes Zander Clark, Frankie Kent, Kai Rolls, and a first Tynecastle appearance for Scott Fraser. So it's Zander Clark in goal at the back, Frankie Kent, Kai Rolls and Stephen Kingsley. Across the middle, Dexter Lembikisa, Benny Beningame, Callum Neuenhoff and Alec Cochrane. And then Alan Forrest and Scott Fraser behind 25-goal Lawrence Shanklin. That double he hit at Airdrie last weekend, taking him to 50 goals in the maroon of Hearts. On the bench for the Jambos, Gordon, Grant and Oda, Atkinson, Devlin and Sibic, Denham, Tate and Vargas. Motherwell 2 changes from the 3-3 draw at Pittodrie, and both are enforced. Callum Butcher, who came off injured in the 3-3 draw, is out, and so too in a big blow to Motherwell is Blair Spittle. He's failed a fitness test this morning and misses out. Dan Casey and Lennon Miller coming in. So it's Liam Kelly in goal. It's a back 3, Paul McGinn, Beavis Mugabe and Dan Casey. Across the middle, Adam Devine, Davos Dravkovsky, Lennon Miller, Harry Payton and Georgie Gent. And up top, Jack Vale and Theo Bair. On the bench, Oxborough, O'Donnell and Obika, Blaney, Buyabu and Elliott, Ferry, Wells, and returning to Tynecastle, former Hearts winger Sam Nicholson. The referee is Chris Graham, the VAR is Andrew Dallas, and if you're looking for some optimism, Gordon, both league games between the sides this season has resulted in away wins.
Well, we'll see if that's an omen or not. I mean, Gordon Dalziel's been doing a bit of a spy in the camp this week, weren't you? Because you've obviously got your claret and amber persuasions, and I have it on good authority you bumped into star striker Lawrence Shanklin in a popular high street fashion store that you're arguably too old to be in.
You think so? He was very impressed, and he was asking me, obviously he knew about my goal scoring records and, you know, just anything could push him on a little bit more. But the boy's doing fantastically well. Hearts, Motherwell are playing guaranteed. Roger Hannah, Tynecastle goals.
I heard that Lon Shanklin said to you, not about your goal scoring record. He said, what are you doing here?
Well, he did say that at the beginning, Hugh, but we'll get into a further, better conversation as time went on.
It was those skinny jeans that you were trying on that he was a bit worried about, I think.
He's 30.
But on and the rest. But on a serious note, I mean, you lot have come in here waxing lyrical about training clips of Lawrence Shanklin scoring fancy finishes. He can do no wrong in front of goal at the moment, Gordon, against a defence that is struggling, shall we say, although Dan Casey's back in, and maybe that boost is offset by the absence of Blair Spittle.
Look, it'd be a little bit unfair in the rest of the Hearts players, but Lawrence Shanklin's one of the main reasons, and probably the main reason why Hearts are sitting where they are, the run that they've went on. His finishing is absolutely brilliant. If Motherwell get anything today, or got to get anything, then I think that's one thing they'll need to stop. They need to stop the service to Shanklin. If they can do that, then they may have a chance. But in past records, you look at Motherwell going up, they can't keep a clean sheet at home, apart from Ross County, okay, 5-0, but they're 3-0 up at Pittodrie, hanging on to get the point. They're away to Tynecastle today, a Hearts team that are well in form, get the best goal scorer in Scotland just now. You've got to say, it's got to be difficult.
Theo Bear.
Oh, Theo. Well, do you know something? I was just going to come on to that. If Motherwell, on the other hand, are going to get anything, they've got to get supply, but Spittle's a big miss.
What about Aberdeen Hibs, Dave Galloway?
Yeah, looking forward to this one, Gordon. A big crowd is expected here for a huge match in the fight for top 6 places. Most people, before the season kicked off, would have expected Aberdeen and Hibs to be certain of top half finishes, but there are big question marks against the two teams right now. They've had poor Premiership campaigns so far, as we all know, and as Hugh alluded to a little earlier, they have identical league stats, and both have sacked their managers as well. Currently the Dons and the Hibees lag 22 points behind Hearts in third place. Victory for either this afternoon could be a major shot in the arm as two vastly underachieving sides look to finally get their acts together. And the managers know each other very well, with Neil Warnock having had Nick Montgomery as a player for several years at Sheffield United. Taking a look at the teams then, and a couple of changes for Aberdeen. In come Richard Jensen and Duke. Out drop Shayden Morris and Dante Polvara. So Kelleroos in goals. A back four of Nicky Devlin, Stefan Gartenman, Richard Jensen and Jack McKenzie. Conor Barron and Graham Shinney, the sitters, with Duke, Leighton Clarkson and Jamie McGrath further forward. Bojan Majowski, as ever, leading the attack. Subs for the Dons: Doohan, Hayes, Phillips, Sockler, Polvara, Duncan, McDonald, Milne and Junior Hoylett, the 33-year-old Canadian international winger, signing yesterday until the end of the season. As for Hibs, a couple of changes for them as well. It's Dylan Levitt and Ellie Ewan replacing Luke Amos and Eliza Mayenda in the starting lineup. So David Marshall in goals. Across the back, Lewis Miller, Will Fish, Nectarios Triantis and Jordan Mbita. Joe Newell and Luke Amos, the sitters. Then it's Martin Boyle, Nathan Mariah Welsh and Ellie Ewan, with the attack being led by Maizan Maulida. As for the subs for the Hibees, it's Wallacott, Hanlon, Vente, Amos, Stevenson, Lafondra, Marcondes, Tavares and Bushiri. Match referee here at Pittodrie Stadium, it's David Monroe, and on VAR, Stephen Kirkland.
Livy against St Mirren, watched by David Friel.
Yeah, Gordon, and two teams, I think it's fair to say, with very different targets coming into this one. St Mirren can go fourth if they win today. Kilmarnock lose or even draw at Celtic. St Mirren will leapfrog them, but will this be the day, finally be the day that rock bottom Livingston finally win a league match again? We always have the counter, 134 days, 17 games since the last 3 points in the Premiership. I'm really sorry to hit Livy fans with this stat, but it's also 4 years since they've actually beaten St Mirren in the league, so it's clear the odds are against them today. St Mirren are doing well, heading for a top 6 finish, but Livy did show great spirit to fight back in the Scottish Cup against Partick Thistle last weekend. 2-0 down, 1-3-2, Tete Yenga with that last gasp winner. And just speaking to people around the stadium as I come in today, I think there's a bit more optimism around Livy. I think they think this game today might be the start of the great escape. They've got Ross County next week, obviously a huge game against their nearest rivals. I think if they get 3 points today, that could go a long way towards staying in this division. St Mirren, as I said, they've been in good form. They did lose to Celtic in the Cup last weekend, but they are also in an important period with a run of kind of favourable games. This is start a run of 3 against the league's bottom 3 clubs, County, St Johnstone and Livy today. Stephen Robinson, he's keeping his cards close to his chest. He's not getting carried away, but he will be after a decent points haul from these fixtures. In terms of the teams, David Martindale has been switching the keepers about. Shamal George is back in for Michael McGovern, Mohsen Gary, Andrew Shinney, who's making his 100th appearance for Livy today, and David Carson also come in for Scott Pittman, Dan Mackay and Sean Donnellan. St Mirren made just 2 changes from the Celtic game. James Scott and Quan come in for Lewis Jameson and Keanu Bacchus. In terms of Livy, they don't have a recognised left back, so The theory is that Mohsen Gary will play there, but we'll see what happens. Shamal George in goals, Jimmy Brandon, Michael Nottingham, Ayo Obalai and Mohsen Gary at the back, Jason Holt, David Carson, hold the midfield with Joel Nibley, Stephen Kelly, Andrew Shinnie and Tete Yenge up front. Subs for Olivia are McGovern, Devlin, Anderson, Mackay, Sean Kelly, Guthrie, Ledingham, Colbert and Lowell. St Mirren will be the usual 3-4-2-1 formation. Zach Hemming in goals, back three of Marcus Fraser, Alec Gogic and Charles Dunn, Elvis Bomono, Quan, Caelan Boyd, Munson, Scott Tanza across the middle with James Scott and Greg Kilty in behind Mikael Mandron. Subs for St Mirren are Urminski, Brown, Flynn, Penman, Taylor, Mooney, Bacchus, Olasanya and Jameson. The referee at the Tory Mac is Ewan Anderson and the VAR is Kevin Clancy.
And Dundee against Ross County under the watchful eye of Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, Gordon, at the start of the season most pundits had these two down at the bottom of the table in the predictions, and it's turned out that way for Ross County. But Dundee so far a terrific season, and the win last week against St Johnstone sees them in the top 6 as we approach the run-in, and perhaps even thinking of Europe should they get a couple of wins in the next few weeks. Tony Docherty has signed really well, over 20 players, but some of the players already here, such as Luke McCowan, Lyle Cameron, they've flourished in their first season in the top flight. But Tony will know if you're going to get any success come May, games like today are must wins, and they go into this game as hot favourites. Although the form's been a bit inconsistent since the winter break, 2 wins and 1 draw in the 6 games. But County season has been well documented. I thought it was a premature decision to get rid of Malky Mackay from the manager's post. Derek Adams had that strange tenure, indeed 10 days ago. Now Don Cowie is in charge, and that makes sense. Good reputation as a coach, good guy. Presume he will be in charge till the end of the season. But despite all the problems, Livy haven't managed to close the gap at the bottom, and the teams above them are only 5 points ahead. So I think County fans will be hopeful a change in form, maybe even a change in fortune, might be able to turn their season around. A game County are desperate to win though, and get something from. Even a draw would be a good result, because their last win was against Motherwell on the 5th of December. 2 draws in 9 league games and 10 if you include the cup defeat against Thistle since then. There's been one change for Dundee in the game against St Johnstone last week. Zach Robinson drops to the bench, and then comes Dan Costello. They go 4-4-1-1 formation. Trevor Carson in goals, Jordan McGee, Joe Shaughnessy, Aaron Donnelly and Owen Beck at the back, Lyle Cameron, Mohamed Salah, Luke McCowan and Dan Costello in midfield, with Scott Tiffany off the main striker, Amadou Bakayoko. The subs for Dundee: John McCracken, Owen Dodgson, Ryan Astley, Curtis Main, Ricky Lamy, Josh Mulligan, Zach Robinson, Finlay Robertson and Malachi Boateng. Just one change as well for Ross County from a defeat in midweek at Ibrox. Eli King drops out and Max Sheaf replaces him in midfield. They go with a 3-5-2 formation. George Wickens in goals, Lloyd Aina, Ryan Leake and Michael Ifete at the back. James Brown, Max Sheaf, Victor Laturi, Jan Danda and Josh Reid across the middle. And the 2 strikers, 2 quick players, Eamon Brophy and Simon Murray. Just 7 subs for Ross County today. Ross Laidlaw, Cameron Borthwick Jackson, Josh Sims, George Harmon, Jay Henderson, Brandon Kayla and Jordan White. And the referee today is Callum Scott, and the man in the VAR box is Nick Walsh.
Looking forward to it then. That's the team news complete for all the 5 fixtures in the Premiership. We'll take a look back at the week's biggest talking points when we return. And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins are in the studio. The top team are round the grounds as we build up to a huge Saturday in the SPFL. We usually pause to look back at the week's biggest talking points at this stage on a Saturday, but I think it's all sort of linked for the second week in a row. Roger Hannah, it's all about that title race. It has been wall to wall on this phone-in this week. Where are we now? Are we in a different position from last weekend when we had this discussion?
Yeah, we probably are, because Rangers have gone and beaten Ross County in midweek. I mean, it's incredible to think after 25 games. Hugh was just making a point at the top of the show how close Aberdeen and Hibs are. Rangers and Celtic are pretty close as well. You know, the same points, the same goal difference. Celtic top by virtue of having scored 4 more goals. And I was just looking at the fixtures, Gordon. Prior to the Scottish Cup quarter-finals in early March, there's 4 league games squeezed in for each. I think in 3 of the 4 match days, the 2 teams play on different days. Celtic today, then Rangers tomorrow. Next weekend, it's Rangers on the Saturday, Celtic on the Sunday. There's a mad midweek card when they both play simultaneously, and then it's Rangers on the Saturday, Celtic on the Sunday again. So there will be swings back and forth. I think incredibly in that run, they both play Kilmarnock, they both play Motherwell, they both play Hearts. Rangers are at Perth tomorrow, and Celtic have a home game against Dundee squeezed in. So I would strap yourself in, because there is going to be a lot of toing and froing, and we should all be glad we have got a title race like this.
So you don't think we somehow arrive at the next meeting of the sides with both winning every game until then?
I think there must be a chance. There must be a chance, Gordon, the way they're going just now. You know, there was Brendan Rodgers at the top of the show talking about how 8 wins out of 9's a disaster. And the next time either team drops any points, you know, be it today, be it tomorrow, be it wherever, that fan base will see it as a disaster, a calamity, a catastrophe. Choose whichever word you like. It wouldn't surprise me if they did arrive on April 7 at Ibrox in the same position they find themselves in today, and the stakes would be sky high.
Yeah, I mean, David Friel, you're involved day to day and hearing from the managers and listening to what they're saying, and Brendan Rodgers has been quite interesting in the last week or so. Last week it was all about the narrative that's been forming outside. He was fairly strong on that topic this week and talking about it being a perceived disaster, and every manager in the old firm, one of them has to be pushed down by the other club and all that sort of stuff. What have you made of Hugh Keevins' least favourite word, the narrative, this week?
Yeah, I noticed last night Hugh was using narrative far too much for my liking, Gordon. He needs to get over that word. No, listen, I know what Brendan Rodgers is trying to do. I think he's trying to create something like maybe a siege mentality. I don't think anybody has been speaking about Celtic's results as being a disaster at all, because they've not. What is it, 8 and 9? 8 wins and 9. The only job is at Pittodrie, which can happen during the season. I don't think that's necessarily a bad point at the end of the season. I think it's been more in terms of the level of performance, especially in the last few weeks, and also the issues away from the pitch in terms of signings, in terms of Brendan Rodgers talking about signing strategy, in terms of the fans going at the board. We've also got a situation obviously with Leo Labada just now, who looks as if he is on his way out of Celtic. So there's been some stuff off the field that has led to a bit of a rocky period for Celtic. I think in terms of the actual performances and the results, it's been fine. But I think Brendan Rodgers will be the first person to say that if Celtic are going to win this league, and it's a 13-game league now, then Celtic's performance levels really need to be much better in the next couple of months.
Brendan Rodgers has got to stop talking about this city. He's got to stop talking about how bizarre it all is, because that's just the way it is, and you need to get on with it. On the 2 o'clock news, we had a story about a women's match between Rangers and Celtic tomorrow that has become controversial because of security issues. This is Glasgow. This is the way it is. Get on with it. And today is a big match for Brendan Rodgers. He's at home to a team he's lost against twice this season already. Cost him a cup, cost him 3 valuable league points. It's now a time for mental strength, and that's what Celtic and Rangers have got to show. And I do take Rodgers' point on board. Today it's about Celtic having to win. Tomorrow it's about Rangers having to win, so long as Celtic have won 3 points today. So, got to be big boys about it and get on with it, and stop talking about how bizarre it all is, and it wouldn't be like this in Liverpool. And incidentally, Frail, pretentious. The word narrative is pretentious. It's used by pretentious people because they think it makes them sound clever. Now you go on with your work and sit quietly at the back.
Is Brendan Rodgers not entitled enough, though, to point out that there is a perception of crisis, and he's quite simply using facts to suggest that maybe the crisis is not as fully blown as some people are making out? Namely you, I think he means.
He keeps bringing it up. I mean,
well, he was asked, obviously.
Well,
it wasn't a monologue, he was asked the question.
If he is secure in himself and he looks at the league table and he knows that they're neck and neck, and it's about 12 games for Celtic, 13 for Rangers, you've just got to focus. He's done very well to get over the injuries that Celtic have had. The loss of Hatate has been a major blow for Celtic. Carter Vickers, major blow. But Now it's about focus, tunnel vision, call it what you will, and he's got to stop talking about how weird we all are here.
I know what you're saying, Hugh, but I totally agree with him. I think he's got to address it. I think it's a situation he's got to address, and plus the fact he's putting over a good message to his players, he's putting over a good message to the supporters. People are talking negative, and people were talking negative. By the way, I've got to say, a lot of the Celtic fans were talking negative, but Brendan Rodgers is quite right. He's a manager at that football club. He's the one that sets the standards and everything about it. He's quite right to come out there and puff his chest out and say, well, hold on a minute, yeah, probably not play to the style and the performance that Celtic supporters and Brendan Rodgers and the players are wanting, but they're still up there challenging for the league. It doesn't worry me that.
It felt like it really got ramped up this week, Fraser. We saw a great example of how managers and players can tell us that they're not really looking at the league table and it doesn't really matter at the moment. If you were to listen to Ibrox the other night, it was abundantly clear that there was an appetite there to get a fourth goal and go top of that table.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every person in football is aware of what's going on, and they should be. If you don't look at the table, it's like golfers saying don't look at leaderboard. Well, how can you do your job? How can you decide on your tactics and what you're going to do? But every game now from the end of the season is always, for the Old Firm, is must win, and we're kind of at the stage where we thought we'd be, because for quite some time Rangers have had a couple of games in hand or a game in hand, so it's always been, Celtic 8 points ahead, but Rangers got 2 games in hand. Now they're equal, and virtually equal in all aspects of the title race, so it's going to be fascinating to see how it goes. I mean, I'm with you guys, with Gordon as well, that I think Brendan Rodgers is quite right, because there's a kind of perception that Celtic have had a poor run and poor results. They did have that at the beginning of December, but since then pretty good. But in terms of results, great. The performances need to be better, and if they're going to win the league, they're going to need to play better, because Rangers have just got this solid look about them. They've got Dessers playing well, scoring a couple of goals. Silver's come in and looking, he's got something there as well. So Celtic have to, I think, play a wee bit better. We talked about it last week. I still think Celtic will just win it, but it's great to have a title race, because in recent years, whoever's won the league has won it fairly comfortably. It's been Celtic under Rodgers and the Invincibles and Postecoglou recently, and even when Rangers won the league under Steven Gerrard, it was comfortable. But this year there's absolutely no margin for error, and Hearts playing well, Kilmarnock beating the Old Firm, St Mirren doing really well last week as well. There's some awkward games for the Old Firm coming up, so fascinating to see how it goes, not only next few weeks before the Old Firm game, but then after the split as well. And I really hope we get a last day finish. I hope we're sitting here watching the games not knowing who's going to win the league on the last day of the season.
I mean, Mark, having been involved, how important are those things that people on the outside throw around about pressure and momentum and psychology, but see when you're living it, what is it actually like? Because the significance of this week was that we drew level on games played, so there's none of this if this team wins their game in hand. Everyone knows where we are, so Celtic know what they need to do today, and then Rangers still have the chance to go top tomorrow, really, regardless of what Celtic do today, Rangers have the chance to go top. How important is handling that? And we said, Ibrox was really expectant the other night. A caller phoned in and said it was verging on sort of anxious, almost a bit over the top. Today, maybe this, you can almost imagine the Celtic fans getting a bit nervous, getting a bit impatient if you reach that hour mark and there's no breakthrough. How hard is that to actually handle?
Well, listen, it is difficult, there's no doubt about it. Players are human beings, and when the pressure comes on your shoulders quite heavy, then it is difficult to manage. But look, I'll reiterate what I said the other night. These players are brought to the club for talent, but how they handle pressure. When they're signed for Celtic and Rangers, the scouting department would look at how they handle high pressure situations, knowing fine well that this could be the case for them. But I think the stage we've got to now, the starter games are so important for both sides. Once it goes beyond that 15-20 minute marks in home fixtures and you've not scored, then that nervous energy can creep from the stands into the players, and it's quite evident. So needless to say, it's quite obvious. If you get an early goal, you see a different performance usually from Celtic and Rangers at home. You can see the pressure lift a bit from the players' shoulders, and that's just going to ramp up. Each week it goes by, closer to the end of the season, that will get tenser and tenser. And you know what? When you're in it, it's hard to deal with, but when you look back in it, you think, wow, what an experience to be involved in something like that. I'm sure the players just now will be relishing it, but there'll be that nervousness about the place after each game. I'm pretty sure the Rangers players will be well tuned in to what's happening at Celtic Park. Vice versa tomorrow if the Celtic players have won. and get a day off, they'll be tuned into the Rangers game. That's when it gets really interesting.
No, Roger Hannah, they all tell us they just focus on themselves, surely.
That's what they tell you, Gordon, but all the people that have told me over the years that never read newspapers, they can soon tell you what's in those newspapers, and they say they never listen to the radio, never watch telly. They know every single game, every single ball kicked. They will not miss a moment of it, regardless of what they'll tell you.
Well, we're all set up for an exciting Saturday, and we go back around the grounds next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Big day, big day across Scottish football, all across the Premiership and beyond. We'll get Gordon Dalziel's thoughts on his former team's dramatic winner in Kirkcaldy last night. Heard you get a wee shout out on the TV as well. Maybe bring that to your attention, because I know you were busy last night, so we'll get to that later on in the show. But the Premiership remains our focus for now, and Hearts against Motherwell's got a nice look about it, Roger. As we touched on slightly, you have two of the informed strikers in the country going head to head this afternoon.
Yeah, Lawrence Shankland and Theo Bair. Obviously Shankland, we know all about, 25 goals for club and country this season, 50 for the Jambos since he came back from Belgian football. He is surely now nailed on to be in Steve Clarke's squad for the Euros this summer, and a bit like Bojan Miovski at Aberdeen, you just wonder where this team would have been had it not been for the goals of Lawrence Shankland this season. He has been so important, but so too, as you say, is Theo Bair. 8 goals in the last 8 games for him. He's into double figures now for the season, and he really has emerged at a time when Motherwell were crying out for someone to lead the line, when the likes of Wilkinson went, Ollie Shaw briefly went back to Barnsley, other players left the club. Mika Beirith was taken back from his loan spell at Arsenal. Theo Bair has stepped forward and is doing a good job up there.
How important is it for Motherwell's hopes that this Blair Spittle injury doesn't come to much?
Yeah, I think that would be crucial, because he has been the sort of creative spark for them this season, and you think of Callum Butcher missing from the defence, Andy Halliday missing from the engine room, and then Spittle in a slightly more advanced role. It's 3 very important players that Motherwell are without at Tynecastle this afternoon, so it's important that the likes of Bair, he'll be paired up top with Jack Bale on loan from Blackburn Rovers this afternoon. It's important that they perform well, and it's important they get some support. Harry Payton, who was denied what might have been a winner at Pittodrie on Wednesday night, he'll look to get forward and support, and I'll always look forward to see Lennon Miller in the middle of the park.
What impact can a game like the other night have, Roger? We've been banging on about psychology of the title race. How important is it the Motherwell players are taking some heart from the good things they did at Pittodrie and not spooked by the fact that they chucked a 3-goal lead?
Yeah, I don't really know what the psychology would be after that, because taking a point at Pittodrie, never really a bad result, but having blown a 3-goal lead, are you down about that? They might have won it with that Harry Payton goal that was disallowed. They might have lost it had those VAR offside lines been a bit more sympathetic towards Bojan Miovski. So it was just one of those crazy games of football, and you talk about the psychology. I don't think it does anybody any good to ponder on the ifs and buts for too long.
Here's Stuart Kettlewell.
And they seem to be onto something at this minute in time. I've always felt that Tynecastle is one of the hardest games that you'll get in any season, no matter how they're playing, how they're performing. But it just so happens that we go there and go and play against a Hearts side that seems to be firing on all cylinders. So it's going to be a tough ask for us, it's going to be a tough game for us. But we found ourselves 3-0 up at Pittodrie and playing very, very well. So if we can reach those heights, then I genuinely believe we make a game of it.
Livy St Mirren. Someone in the studio, David Field, was asking if you request to go and watch Livingston every week. It does feel like you're there a strange number of times. If they're to have any hope of pulling something back, surely games like this, in fact any game, because they're running out of time a bit, aren't they?
Yeah, they certainly are, Gordon. I don't request they come and see them. I'm certainly not a lucky mascot, because I don't think I've actually seen them win all season. Yeah, they need to start making a move. They're just doing, as I said earlier, there does seem to be a bit more optimism. I was talking to one of the officials when I came in, and he's pointing out that of this 17 game run they've lost 14, but 7 of them have only been by a single goal, and he was very, very optimistic that they can stay up. He sees a result today, a result against Ross County, but it's all very well saying that. They need to go and start doing it, and they need to get their striker scoring. Roger just spoke about the importance of Lawrence Shankland. Livy just haven't had a striker. They've not had a talisman all season. I mean, Joe Nibley scored 2 last week. That was his first goal since August. Davy Martindale really has to find a solution up front. Tete Yengi's got 2 and 5, showing signs of promise up front, but he needs guys like that to really deliver for him today. And St Mirren, we know what to expect from them. They'll be solid, they'll be good in the break. They'll try and just hem Livy in as much as they can and look to hit Mikael Mandron and James Scott.
Yeah, I mean, St Mirren clearly one of the success stories so far. David, you look at last week in the Cup, I'm not sure Stephen Robinson would be happy about it, but it's one of them. You draw Celtic, you're fine within the game, and lose out to the better side. It's not exactly a damaging one, is it?
Yeah, and I don't think their performance, I mean, they did have a few chances. I don't think their performance was that bad, to be perfectly honest with you. I think, whenever you draw Celtic, you're obviously going to fear the worst, but I don't think he'll let it derail their season at all. They've had a couple of, obviously they lost to the Rangers a few weeks ago, but they had 2 good league wins in between. As I said earlier, this is a run of games, Livingston, Ross County, St Johnstone, but Stephen Robinson, if he wants to finish 4th, he wants to get into Europe, these are the games that St Mirren really need to take care of. If you can get 7 or 9 points out of those 3 games, then it can go a long way to finishing where they want to be.
Dundee against Ross County, Fraser, it was the in-fashion thing for a while to give jobs in the Premiership to the interim. You look at Barry Robson and Stevie Hamill and so on. There were various. Is Don Cowie's audition starting now? Is that the way it is after a game that you probably wouldn't expect to take anything from midweek at Ibrox?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wonder what's going through Roy McGregor's head, whether inside Ross County they're saying that Don's going to get it till the end of the season. He came through the youth ranks here before, making a really good career for himself, playing for Scotland, of course, down in England, and as well being a coach at Hearts, a coach here as well, and he's recognised as being one of the game's good guys, but he's got a bit of steel about him as well, and he's also got a reputation as a good coach. But if they lose today, then I don't think that would help him get the job even till the end of the season. But it's a kind of strange time for Ross County, as I said earlier. If they win today, then they go a couple of points behind St Johnstone, who are playing Rangers tomorrow, and all of a sudden things look a bit brighter, and if they lose today and Livingston win, then those 2 play next week. There's a bit more pressure on them. So I do think for Don Cowie and for Ross County, this is an important game. They really need to start. Even a draw would just stop the rot, because they've had such a long run of not winning games.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. And Aberdeen Hibs, always a good fixture to look forward to, and I think everyone keeps an extra bit of attention on it when Neil Warnock's involved. Dave Galloway, as much as the entertaining side of it's there, how keen are the Aberdeen fans to start racking up some wins under the new manager?
Absolutely desperate, as are the team, and I think that's reflected in the crowd. We're going to get a big crowd today. It'll be interesting to see what the official attendance is, but all sections of the stadium filling up very nicely indeed. And Hibs, give them credit, they brought a really good support through with them as well. Really looking forward to this one. It promises to be a really good attacking game, but will it be? There's plenty of attacking threat in both starting lineups. Hopefully that will bear fruit. It actually looks like Aberdeen might go with a 4-3-3 with Duke, Majowski and McGrath up front. Similarly with Hibs, it looks like Levitt might start a little bit further forward in a 4 with Boyle, Mariah Welsh and Ewan, and then Maulida leading the attack. So, plenty attacking threat. Hopefully we get a few goals, and a really entertaining game. Obviously much could hinge on who starts this game better. If Aberdeen, and I was at Praetorian Wednesday night, if they begin the way they did in that game against Motherwell, it'll be a long, uncomfortable afternoon for them. But interesting to notice, in the Premiership head-to-heads between these teams, Hibs, they've won both meetings between them this season, and indeed Aberdeen have lost 3 of the last 4, failing to score in any of them. All in all, I think this encounter it's going to be a tough one to call.
We spoke about Lawrence Shanklin. Dave, you of course have got Bojan Majowski up there, and I wonder if Aberdeen are to go and make something of this season. Have we seen the early signs of the rejuvenation of Duke, perhaps?
Yeah, well, we certainly saw very promising signs against Motherwell, didn't we? No sooner that was he on the pitch as a substitute after about half an hour, he scored straight away, and it was good to see at the end of the game he had a big smile on his face. We've not seen Duke smiling and enjoying his football for a while, so Neil Warnock deserves a lot of credit for that. Hopefully it's onwards and upwards for him.
It is all set up to be an absolute cracker in the Scottish Premiership. That was Dave Galloway looking ahead to Aberdeen against Hibs. There are storylines everywhere. Hearts in third place, going well, up against Motherwell. Livy St Mirren. Can Livy start to show signs of life? Dundee, Ross County, life under Don Cowie truly beginning, you suspect, for the Staggies today. And of course, at the top, league leaders, current champion Celtic, welcoming Kilmarnock. With everything that's happened this week and everything that's been said, we will go back to Celtic Park next.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio bracing themselves for a top day of football. We've got the top team round the grounds. You should be up to speed on the team news, which means the only thing left to do is head back to Celtic Park and build up to kick off there. It's a huge game, Celtic against Kilmarnock, and Gabriel is going to take us up to kick off.
Thanks, Gordon. Yes, fans here anticipating their team walking out to the pitch, and they're trying to re-establish a 3-point lead at the top of the table before Rangers play against St Johnstone tomorrow. A huge game for Celtic against their bogey team this season. Of course, Kilmarnock, the only side to beat the Hoops twice domestically this campaign, although Celtic did win the previous meeting at Parkhead earlier this season. You have to go back to 2012 for the Ayrshire side's last victory here. I'll quickly run through the two teams again, Gordon, just before they head out to the pitch. Brendan Rodgers makes just one change to the team that beat St Mirren 6 days ago. Greg Taylor comes back in at left back. It's his first game in 4 weeks. He's been struggling with a groin injury. Alexandra Bernabei drops to the bench. So it's Joe Hart in goal. Tony Rowson will be right back. It's his 100th Celtic appearance today. Stephen Welsh, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor complete the back four. It'll be Callum McGregor and Matt O'Reilly in the middle of the park, with Dyson Maeda and Louis Palmer out wide. Kyogo supports Adam Ida up top. Substitutes: Bain, Nawrocki, Kuhn, Kelly, Bernabei, O, Yang, Tomoki and Bernardo. Well, what about Kilmarnock? Much has been made about their record against the top two this season. They've been brilliant in all of their big games. They're through to the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup as well. Derek McInnes' side fourth at the moment. They want to secure European football next season. And McInnes makes 4 changes to the team that beat Cove Rangers last weekend. It's a change in formation as well. It's going to be 4-4-2 for the visitors. Will Dennis in goal. A defence of Lewis Mayo, Stuart Finley, Corey Ndaba and Joe Wright. Danny Armstrong and Matty Kennedy will be out wide, with Liam Polworth and Liam Donnelly in the middle of the park. Kyle Vassell and Marley Watkins lead the line. The substitutes: O'Hara, McKenzie, Watson, Palagisi, Murray, Davies, Stewart, Mackay, Stephen and Van Veen. So a strong looking bench for Kilmarnock, especially going forward. Should be a cracking game here today, as Kyle Vassell leads his team out, as does Callum McGregor. Killy wearing red this afternoon. Celtic in their traditional green and white. Now the rain is lashing down here, Gordon. Could be a dramatic afternoon in the title race. As we all know, it is neck and neck at the top. Only goals scored, the metric, can separate Celtic and Rangers at the moment. With just 13 games to go, it looks like a title race will go right down to the wire. Brendan Rodgers knows his side cannot give any more fuel to Rangers' fire. Yes, they have won 8 of their last 9. But they want to start winning games with the attacking style that has become the standard here, the norm at Parkhead. They want to create momentum as they hurtle towards the title run-in. Of course, as I said, put pressure on Rangers ahead of their game tomorrow. The two captains just shaking hands in the centre circle at the moment, with referee John Beaton. We are just about to get underway as Celtic take the huddle in their own half. Kickoff is coming right up.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. New year, new start. Quit the cigarettes with the smoking cessation programme.
Right, come on then, you absolute duds. Give me your predictions for this afternoon.
Celtic beat Kilmarnock. Hearts beat Motherwell. Aberdeen beat Hibs. St Mirren win away at Livy. And Dundee Ross County is a draw.
Oh no, Hugh, look at that, the exact same.
There you
That's
go.
never good.
That is never good.
There is one
change
guy
it?
that you don't want to be in the same page as. It's this man.
You're never going to believe this.
A full house?
No.
No, good.
I'm going Celtic, Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs draw, Livy, St Mirren draw, Dundee to beat Ross County.
There we are. Tune in and see who gets closest between now and full time. Probably none of them will be particularly close, but there we are. We are underway on a big Saturday in the Scottish Premiership and beyond. Remember, you can tweet us at Clyde SSB all afternoon. So as the games happen, as the goals go in, as you react to whatever this lot are saying in the studio, we're here for you. I like a Saturday afternoon where we can talk to each other via that platform at Clyde SSB. We'll have the usual teasers for you as well, and of course, although it's a bit away, we will get the open line up and running around 5 o'clock, and that's when this show really comes into its own. We talk about everything that's happened in the day's football, and for you Rangers fans, I'm sure we will preview tomorrow as well. We're so close at the top of the table, Mark. Everyone's been focusing on goals scored. It almost passed me by that technically, if Celtic lose today, Rangers would go top by the end of the afternoon, because that would damage Celtic's goal difference, which they're level on at the moment.
That's quite unique. That you lose and you go backwards in the league,
without anyone playing.
Anyone
else playing. Sorry.
So quite unique that. So they know what's been asked of them this afternoon, and each one of those, is it 13 games, am I right in saying that, or 12 games left? Each one of those games come with its own pressure.
13 for the top two.
13 games remaining. And listen, when you're a player and you see the schedule, you're ticking them off one by one. And I know players always use that cliche, but it gets that tense at this time of the season. You can only concentrate on what's in front of you at that moment. So for Celtic today, it's a very good Kilmarnock side. For Rangers tomorrow, a St Johnstone side that not so good, but always danger when it's at McDermott Park and away from home.
If I had said if Celtic lose, Rangers would go top, you'd all blame me for causing a crisis.
Just a fact, that's all. Just a small technicality that we feel we have to point out. You just conditioned to thinking that Rangers can only go top tomorrow. Technically not the case, but Brendan Rodgers will be hoping for a more straightforward afternoon anyway. 13 games ago was your birthday.
Yeah.
So that's the time frame. That feels like it was just last week.
Spooky.
And now in 13 games time, that'll be it, all done and dusted.
Well, we're doing it by the numbers. Well done to Anthony Ralston, 100th game for Celtic today, because a lot of people would have thought that he wouldn't even have been at the club by this stage, but he's hung in there. He's got the old-fashioned determination to play for the jersey. So congratulations to him. When he's my age, he can stand next to Gordon Dale and say, I played for Celtic 100 times, you know.
There you go. I've never guessed that, I've got to say. It just shows you how easily now you can rack up games with the amount of games.
That's harsh. And
what about to take it away from
No. With the amount of games that these top teams now play, it's a lot easier now.
It's a lot easier to get into that Celtic side.
Oh, well, have a look at it.
I think you're being harsh.
They've had a lot. Well, put it this way: if Celtic's back four was fit every week in, week out like Tavernier, how many games would Ralston have clocked?
That's not
right, there
you
go.
That's not to do with the amount of games. That's about injuries.
It's very unlike you that to be so negative. I've been wanting to get this off my chest since the start of the afternoon. I feel like you're flat this afternoon.
He is.
There's something wrong with you today,
and it's bringing the ship down because you look tense, you look drained.
You do. You look a bit tired. I feel like you're even in the office. You were quieter than usual.
I just can't be bothered with you guys. That's the fact of it.
Something on his mind.
There is.
Is that the ankle?
I'll get back.
Is it the gout? How is the gout?
It's no gout. It's ligament damage.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
What, ligament damage that only randomly hurts you during the night and doesn't hurt you at other times?
There's a lot of things hurt me during the night that doesn't hurt me at other times.
Especially in recent nights.
Going back to my point, I'm not having a go at Ralston. I quite like Ralston. I think he's a good pro. I think he does well for Celtic. I'm talking about the amount of games that the teams now play, especially Celtic.
But honestly, don't do that again. Don't sidestep, because I'm worried about you. I think you're flat. I think there's something on your mind.
I'm never flat.
Me, Mark, Hugh, and the tens of thousands listening, we're here for you.
Oh, I know my people are there for me. I love them, they love me.
What's the narrative?
There is. If you've not noticed it, Hugh, he's just down a notch or two this afternoon.
But he smells beautifully.
Thank you, Hugh.
He always douse himself in aftershave before he comes in.
I carry it in the car.
Yeah.
My car may not have any petrol, but it's certainly got plenty of aftershave.
Remember you disclosed this that you had you collected deodorant. You had loads of deodorant. That was years ago. That was my first kind of insight to how
bizarre he is.
Crazy you were.
First goal in Scotland. Actually, that's the second. There have been a few early ones down the divisions, but Annan 1, Stirling Albion 0. Matthew Douglas inside 4 minutes. There was one even before that, which I can't quite remember. I'm sure it was the game involving
Montrose. Montrose won up.
Glad you're here.
Blair Lyons scored.
Early stages at Celtic Park, as you would expect. Celtic with possession and trying to make things happen. It will be a case of, can they make things happen, and how early can they make it happen? That's what usually settles the nerves a little bit.
I know there are 25 points between Celtic and Kilmarnock. But I think Kilmarnock have a side who have good players, got a lot of momentum, they've had a good season, a bright season. I think they are obliged today to just go and make a match of it. We get fed up with people who say, they came in the park the bus and so on and so forth. And I never decry a team who did that, because they are entitled, if they're the bottom half of the league, to look after themselves. But Kilmarnock, I think, have the players and the manager and the nous to do something today.
It just can be easier said than done. We do fall into that trap of thinking when things aren't going well for Celtic, or Rangers for that matter, we sometimes forget though, Mark, that you would still need Celtic to be way off it and Kilmarnock to be bang at it, especially at Celtic Park. I was actually at the previous meeting at Celtic Park. Kilmarnock had good players then, and they were in good form then. They went there, had 22% of the ball, and Celtic won 3-1. It can still happen.
Oh, listen, without doubt, there's still a huge gap in the levels between the Celtic starting 11 today and the Kilmarnock starting 11. But the problem for Celtic is that they have been underperforming at home. Even though they've been getting results, the players haven't been at the peak of their game. So that then gives the opposition a chance. And Hugh's right, with Armstrong and Kennedy and Watkins in that front line, they're certainly players that can trouble Celtic. And I think when you've beaten them already twice, albeit at Rugby Park, you just get that wee bit of extra confidence that, these aren't invincible. We can actually get to them. So they'll take that wee bit of belief. But look, if Celtic play to the top of their ability with Kyogo and Palma, and of course they go on and win the game.
Good start to the game between Dundee and Ross County. Lyle Cameron, 25-yard shot tipped wide by Wickens. How busy was he at Ibrox during the week?
How good is he though?
He was
smashing goalkeeper.
You said he had to put his hands in a bucket of ice. I've not heard
that. The most saves in the Premier League match. Was it 19?
Something like that.
That's incredible.
It was the previous record, not Ross Laidlaw from the Celtic trip to Ross County earlier this season. Something like that.
The day that Celtic had 23 corners.
End to end at Pittodrie as well, but no real goal threat yet. So let's do this while we can, Hugh.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Interesting one, this. This pays homage to the US of A. Can you name the last 6 players to be signed by either Old Firm side from the MLS? The last half dozen players to be signed by either member of the Old Firm from the MLS.
I love it. At Clyde SSB, it is a race, so you need to send one tweet with all 6 names on it, and do it quicker than everyone else. That is the aim of the game, without sounding like a school teacher stating the obvious. Read the question. That's about the only clue, I think. The only thing that could throw you slightly, and I was thinking about this one earlier, just make sure you really read the question. Okay?
I'll give you the question.
That's quite hard.
Does that help anyone? No. But there's a detail in there that some of you are going to fall for, I reckon.
Can you name the last 6 players to be signed by either Celtic or Rangers from the MLS?
Okay. Straightforward-ish. Oh, the Gordon DL derby. Airdrieonians 0, Ayr United 1. Anton Dowds after 9 minutes there. Scott Brown's side going 1 up.
Is he still on loan from Partick Thistle, or did he sign permanent? I think
Oh, you should know.
Well, he's not been there all season.
Right,
I've never seen him.
Come on, Mr. Partick Thistle.
Exactly.
I think he might
You're in
be.
there every day.
Because I'm pretty
Dowds
sure when
all in.
Ayr played Thistle and I went to watch that game, he wasn't allowed to play. He wasn't in the start lineup.
You tell us then.
I'm going to say yes. I think.
Yes, I think.
Thanks for clearing that up. He is on loan.
Yeah, I knew it. I was 100% right.
That was a 50-50.
Listen, a good player, good goal scorer, by the way.
Speaking of Partick Thistle, how was the under-18s big trip to Dingwall yesterday?
Oh, it was smashing. Began it at 8:30 in the morning. Got back at 9:30 at night.
No.
We were playing Inverness, Hugh. In Dingwall.
So just to add on that extra 20 minutes just for good measure.
Over the Keswick Bridge.
Oh, it was beautiful. But we won 3-1. So.
And the good news is he's going back next week. He's playing Ross County next week.
We're playing Ross County and Inverness next week.
Yeah.
Do you as manager have to make the sandwiches for the bus? How does it work at that level?
By the way, right, one of the young boys said to me after the game, they said, can we stop at Aviemore? I said, no worries. They said every one of your coaches have bought us a chippy at Aviemore as a team.
Up. And did you do it?
No, I said every one of your coaches have been stupid. I'll not be buying your chippy.
How tight is he?
You got to buy the
You're joking. You seen the price of a chippy these days?
I bet none of their previous coaches have played in the Champions League. That's what they'll be thinking.
Certainly not.
Honestly, you're standing here bragging about buying boats and you can't buy a chippy.
For 20 times, well, you do the math, 20 times about £9.
Honestly. Anyway, we've got one.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen are not starting games well at the moment, and it's Hibs that go a goal up. Martin Boyle, you know what his pace is capable of. Round the keeper, slots it into the net, and the Pittodrie faithful are looking at their side trailing again at the beginning. Aberdeen 0, Hibs 1. Good save as well. Celtic probably should score. McGregor breaks through, feeds Palma, he cuts in, but it's shut down by the goalkeeper. But the first goal of the day in the top flight, Martin Boyle.
Well, the Warnock era at Pittodrie is positively odd. You never know what to expect. And although they were right behind the team eventually midweek, because they came back from 3 down to be 3-all, they're looking for more from Aberdeen, the Pittodrie fans.
Warnock a good appointment, do you think?
I understand the logic behind it. The logic, as I understand it, would be that you give yourselves time to make the right choice, because Dave Cormack is associated with 3 bad choices. He's got to get one right.
VAR check, possibly offside, but it stands, Martin Boyle.
So for me, that's the logic. Neil Warnock comes in, you get plenty of publicity, high profile, but you've got to be careful it doesn't turn into a song and dance routine here.
You've got to be careful. He's got to win games.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. It's okay saying, right, you go to Ibrox in your first game, does okay, loses, beats Bonnyrigg, which is fine. They're 3-0 down and really struggling against Motherwell, and now they go 1 goal behind. As much as every press and media guy loves it and likes listening to him, he's there to win football matches.
But at the same time, it's an underperforming team. That's why he's there.
Yeah.
So this can't become Neil Warnock's fault within 3 games. It's a bad team this season for whatever reason. That's why he's here. It's
a double-edged sword when you get the Warnock profile and all that has gone before, because people think, oh, this is great, and the wonderful publicity, and the Roger Hanna and David Friel, myself, anyone that would be delighted to be in his company, get good quotes, etc. But Gordon Dale's 100% correct. That's all very well and good, but you can't have the club continuing to decline, because they've only won 6 games all season. For Aberdeen, that's appalling.
But anyway, we're 15 minutes in, so maybe we should just pause and see what happens before the end of the day. Shamal George was down injured, maybe just winded. I think he's okay now. The Livingston goalkeeper, that one big chance Celtic have had early on from Luis Palma, that's been about it in front of goal. They probably should be in front, but no takers in the end. And Martin Boyle goal's the only one in the Premiership so far, or is it?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Neil Warnock, genius. A tap in for Nicky Devlin, and Aberdeen are level already. It sounds like Dave Galloway has got quite a game on his hands. Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1.
Well, the entertainment is high, as it was midweek. So
VAR check, obviously. But,
yeah. But anyway, you get value for your ticket money.
You're looking at the amount of goals both have conceded this season. I don't think that's a surprise within the opening 15 minutes that there's been a couple there. Both teams defensively poor, but then you flip it, you look at them at the top end of the pitch. Miovski's sitting second top goal scorer, and then you look at Hibs and you look at guys like Boyle, who causes all sorts of trouble. Defensively, so fragile and so weak, both of them.
There's a huge goal at the top of League One. Falkirk 1, Hamilton Accies 0. Callum Morrison there.
John Rankin coming under a lot of pressure from the Accies fans.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought they were liking what they were seeing with John.
It's a difficult one because it's now, they're second. It's not like,
yeah, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Disastrous season.
I think the Accies fans are next door to impossible to please, quite frankly.
I think because there's now looks like Falkirk are just going to get away and make it theirs. That does stand, that goal at Aberdeen. Here's a little known a small insignificant boring feature of the Aberdeen team today, right? Think how infrequently you would see this nowadays. Aberdeen's outfield, shirt numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11.
Wow,
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
And the only guy that spoiled it, Kellerus, he doesn't wear number 1. So if he only wore number 1 for the first time in goodness knows how long, maybe some stato out there can tell me, when was the last time a Scottish Premiership team went 1 to 11?
I like that.
Because it must have been a long time ago.
It was the day of my 14th birthday, I think.
And Kellerus has ruined it. But the outfield, it still works. Nicky Devlin 2 all the way through.
Subs
to
12 and
Duke 11.
14.
Aye.
New man.
No 13, aye.
On for Rangers is number 12, a new man. You'd see DL running on.
Trialist next.
New man. It was brilliant. I loved that.
Yeah, it goes wrong on the subs bench, but let's take the small victories that we can get on there. Don't forget your teaser is there for you. If you want to read the question as well, it's at Clyde SSB. At Clyde SSB. You two faring okay with that?
I've got 2.
He's got 2 and I've got none. But I might have 1.
Quick reminder of the question, Hugh.
Can you name the last 6 players to be signed by either Celtic or Rangers from the MLS? Straightforward.
I said I just wanted you to make sure you read it really, really carefully. There's just one small detail that I think might throw it off slightly, and Derek FM's fallen for one of them. Nico Kranjčar. No, that was not the MLS. We didn't say signed from America. We said signed from the MLS.
Oh, we're already on top of that.
That's their top league.
We're all over
right?
We're all over MLS.
So if you think about that, that might also impact some of your.
Who's your favourite team in the MLS?
Your other shouts as well.
I like the Dallas. Are they a team?
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas.
I don't know.
Is that the
TV show? Inter Milan or Inter.
Well,
Inter Milan.
It's unlikely to be.
No,
Milan,
Inter.
Miami.
Thank goodness you're all over the MLS.
I don't really. It's not.
Who's the MLS correspondent? Gordon Dale.
I don't really get my teeth into.
The Hugginfield Goat wants to throw in friend of the show and answer to many teasers.
Miller?
Kenny Miller.
No.
Oh, he was at Vancouver, wasn't he?
And Charlie Bayer, no relation of Theo, as far as I can tell, would like to throw in Malik Tillman.
No,
Bayern Munich, wasn't it? Eamon Brophy's looking sharp, but can't get the angle he wanted to, save by Trevor Carson with his chest at the near post. Deep ball into the box there for Celtic. Maeda maybe could he have gambled and attacked it, but it did run out for the goalkeeper as we edge towards the midway point of the first half. Shinnie's hit the post for Livy, but I think the flag was up. But there's a big goal. James McPake really needed that. Dunfermline 1, Arbroath 0. Malachi Walcott on 18 minutes. Stenhousemuir incidentally lead at Elgin as well.
Dunfermline have been dropping down that league table. If they were to lose to Arbroath today, there are only 3 points between the two clubs, and Arbroath are rock bottom. So, as you rightly say, big one for James McPake. He's got to go on from there.
Yeah, good start for Dunfermline. You've got your teaser ready as well. The Championship's always some division, isn't it? And it took an extra twist last night. The top 2
game.
What an end to that one at your old stomping ground.
What a goal. That is, in all the years I played up there, don't think I've seen a better goal, apart from my 150.
All of them.
I scored the rest away from home.
All right.
And they were all tap-ins. You never saw that bit of the pitch up there.
I didn't. I couldn't hit it that far.
Scott Brown, what a strike.
And
what a result. The top of the table closes the gap on Dundee United.
Scott Brown didn't start the game last night, which was a surprise as well. But what a way to finish it. I watched something in the bus journey back from Inverness last night, and the period I watched, Dundee United looked well on top. Once you could see the equaliser coming, and they just looked the better side. And I thought, I hear so many good things about Wraith. What am I missing here? But that's what was missing. They scored so many late goals and had that, determination, that effort to have a final push that it just keeps getting results. So tight at the top, United probably should be far and away, ahead in that league.
Good crowd as well. Got to say.
Brilliant crowd. Yeah.
That was
a
old
man
days.
that likes crowds.
Yeah.
I thought of you last night when I saw it. I thought,
fantastic atmosphere.
Who did the half-time draw? Anybody?
I was going to go, but unfortunately I was busy. You know what I mean? My diary didn't allow it to happen.
You're a busy man.
Maybe one day.
What were you up to instead? I must have been something really important if you're going to turn that down.
Did you buy anything when you were shopping with Lon Shankland?
No, I tried on a nice jumper, but unfortunately it just didn't go in my eyes. It wasn't my shade.
I'm sorry I asked now.
I bet you tried on an overshirt. You like a wee overshirt when you got
no.
few beers.
No, it was just a nice wee casual, but it wasn't
You're
my
too old for that shot.
How was it? No.
And it would be ill-fitted to your figure.
My physique.
Those arms are too big for
doing too much weights, I think. But no, it was nice to see him. Lovely boy, got to say.
Speaking of that championship game last night, did you hear you got a wee mention on the TV?
By Liam.
Yeah, I heard my phone was going off the hook. People say, have you heard the Dazzler getting his mention? And I thought, well, it's no surprise. If there's anything involving Wraith Rovers, he's bound to be mentioned. But I thought it was quite detailed. I quite liked it. So because I know you were
otherwise engaged.
You were busy last night. So Liam McLeod, as part of BBC Scotland's commentary last night, you got a wee mention.
Early goal for Zach Rudden, and certain former Wraith Rovers striker of the past Gordon DL, always liked to score a goal inside the first 7 minutes on a Saturday for Wraith Rovers. Used to bet on it because that was the time of the first train that went past the stadium towards Kirkcaldy Station. If he scored before that, he would win his bet. Good evening, Gordon, if you're watching. Proper Rovers legend.
Good evening, Gordon, if you're watching.
Yeah, I love him.
You weren't even interested. You were elsewhere.
Unfortunately, I was watching something different, you know.
Proper Rovers legend, he said.
Well, he's correct in every word he said there. I'm not too sure. I think the train was 9 minutes because I liked a good warm up before I put the ball in the back in it.
Right.
Yeah. But that was true. Used to have just a wee side wager with the boys. Very rich man at the end of the season, I was. Very rich.
That's how you got that big house.
What's just so annoying is that he's obviously bored everyone to tears with that story so much that it's made its way to the BBC. Everybody's heard it and they're just like, no.
I may as well just put it out there and keep them happy.
Celtic playing pretty well here at Rugby Park. At Celtic Park against Kilmarnock, moving the ball around the edge of the box. No breakthrough yet though, which is the key detail. Falkirk have doubled their advantage at home to Hamilton Accies. Ross McKeever with the goal in that one.
Well, past 20-minute mark at Celtic Park, and I said earlier on, if you don't score in the first 15-20 minutes, you can maybe hear the grumbles, but if reports are that they're playing well, I think the fans will be pleased at that, and you know, they'll probably have faith, a bit of optimism that if they keep playing this way, they'll score. But I didn't expect anything less from that one, because Kilmarnock are well organised under Derek McInnes. If Celtic's going to win the game, they're going to have to work for it. And those players are going to have to perform better than they have done in previous weeks. That sounds like they're going along okay at the minute.
For fans of Celtic and Rangers, they're now heavily into this amazing finish, and they are getting more and more demanding. Now, I heard you talking about the Rangers fans midweek, and you could hear them, but they pay to get in. So long as they keep it within the bounds of decency, they're entitled to pile on the pressure or however they react, and the Celtic fans are the same today. We always talk about the game without fans is nothing, fans are the lifeblood. Well, let them have their say.
Well, on that logic then, those fans who don't do that are as entitled to say, oh, I wish everybody else would calm down, because it doesn't need to be as anxious as this. Same thing, isn't it?
There are more who are anxious than there are who are not anxious.
How do you know? You counted them.
I can tell you from listening to both sets of fans, there are more who get anxious than are able to stay calm.
Lawrence Shankland into the book for a sliding challenge on Jack Vale. Bit of a steward's inquiry on the teaser, which is never good. So a few people say, how can it not be Kenny Miller? How can it not be Kenny Miller? He did sign from Vancouver. I just contacted the man himself, and he says that he
did.
Well,
I believe Kenny, because you'll know where he signed from.
Terminated his Vancouver contract, so
technically he was a free agent.
Technically he was a free agent. I think we'll leave it there. So he's not one of the answers, right? I'm now helping you. I'm helping you along. It's not him. Let's try and get the other six.
I forgot he was there. I tell you what, he's been
about. He gets about, that man.
Everything bar a steak pie, he's been.
He gets about. At Clyde SSB, keep your answers coming to that teaser. It's still goalless at Celtic Park. It's still goalless at Tynecastle. Still goalless at Livy. At Dens Park as well. Only Pittodrie
Hamilton fans won't be happy now.
No, I would agree.
3-0 behind.
3-0 to Falkirk. Calvin Miller on 27 minutes.
One can only imagine the chance directorate John Rankin now.
What he needs to do, Hugh, is get the DVD from the Aberdeen game. Aberdeen Motherwell, the old Neil Warnock.
I think it was 27 minutes.
Yeah, and there you are. There's always hope.
Unless he goes 4 down, of course.
The difference is I don't think John has the quality of Duke to bring off the bench to change a game. Probably young kids on his bench.
It's probably part of the challenge, isn't it? So, good play by Ida there for Celtic, as Brendan Rodgers' side try to find that breakthrough. Holds the ball in, rolls it to Palma, but doesn't come to anything in the end. It was a cross and no one on the end of it. Inverness 1, Partick Thistle 0. See, just got to channel what the under 18s did in the Highlands yesterday.
Well, we went one down ourselves, Gordon, I'm not going to lie, and we kept calm.
What do you keep the head at that point? Is it all about just exuding that composure to your players?
Do you look and go,
just
here we go again?
In them?
No.
I'm used to this.
Calmness. He's more that. I knew this was coming. In fact, I had them on to score first.
I've had this with all my jobs.
Yeah.
No surprise here.
Equaliser for Airdrie. Airdrie 1, Ayr 0. Cammy Ballantyne with the goal on 26 minutes there. The lower leagues are doing their bit. The top flight needs to get its finger out if we can.
See Airdrie last week against Hearts. Quite an interesting game because Airdrie started well and they played nice football, but Hearts just went up the pitch 3 times and scored. But it was just a weird game of football, the way it was played and how open it was. And fair play to Rhys McCabe for sticking to his principles, but came undone against better quality.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Because they could have folded, and you always hear that same stuff about if you're 3-0 down, why are you not just getting the ball up the pitch? Who's to say they don't lose 5-0 doing that? So
great goal they scored, by the way.
Yeah.
And I know you maybe don't take plaudits for going out the cup like that, but I think in this day and age that's what bigger clubs look for. A manager, a young manager who sticks to principles and plays an attractive brand rather than hoof it up and try and...
I mean, Hearts are winning every single week against top flight opposition. They've got Lauren Shanklin, so no shame in the result. Jordan McGee back post, looping header tipped away by Wickens. Good game, says Fraser Wishart, despite no breakthrough yet. No breakthrough pretty much everywhere. Just Dave Galloway spoiled up there. Miovski's through, Marshall off his line well to block. So we're ticking along in terms of action, but not necessarily goals. We could do with 1 or 2 more, I think we would all agree.
Well, at least it's lively at Pittodrie. It appears to be lively at Celtic Park, although minus a goal. But we're getting to that stage where the fans will start to wonder where the goal is coming from.
I've got to the bottom of it. The mystery has been solved. I mean, we said we played the clip from Liam McLeod and BBC Scotland saying, Gordon Dalziel, if you're watching, hello. He said he wasn't. Someone's sent me a tweet to say they saw him at the cinema last night. What a man about town you are. Honestly.
They showed me last night.
Yeah.
I was in disguise.
No.
At the cinema. A man of your age at the cinema.
From Dave Wright. What did you go and see?
At the cinema.
Do you know, I genuinely couldn't even tell you any film that's on at the cinema anymore.
Nor me. And I love the cinema, but nor me.
I'm actually going to embarrass myself.
I couldn't even, I would pick one that's ridiculous to try and take the mickey out of. I have no idea what's on. I couldn't even begin.
What to go and watch?
Priscilla.
Was it good? Would you recommend?
I was absolutely fuming, right?
Why?
Because I've never been to pictures for how long? 20 years, 30 years.
Seriously?
I don't go.
30 years. Did you not go and see Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible. That's it. Apart from that, I don't go to the pictures.
Second time in 30 years.
Yeah,
right,
I don't do pictures. I just can't be bothered with.
Who
right?
would with the TV you've got?
Right. And what?
He's got films that's not even been made yet on his.
What annoyed me? So I goes in. So you forget what price it is.
I knew that's what you were going to moan about.
So I went up and I asked for a seniors, right? And it still came to 17 odd quid, right?
What?
I was built, and then to make matters worse,
you didn't tell me you didn't.
What?
Pick and mix.
10 quid.
I'm surprised you've not remortgaged the flat this morning,
mate. Honestly, I'm no kidding you. On
tenner.
No one of them ones. I was going to say to the boy, take some of them out, right? Given the scale,
you're not meant to do that because apparently people look out and they see whoever's buying a pick and mix at the cinema. They assume that they're benefiting from ill-gotten gains, because you need the real extra cash to be able to afford one of them.
Yeah.
I could not.
People are
honestly
going to think you've got a wee side business if you can afford that stuff.
But I had to tell the boy, I says, listen mate, I says senior here. He went, you're a senior? I went,
You don't get money off your picking mix for being a senior.
I would have
No.
loved to have seen his face, because he would have had no clue the weight until you go up to the scales. That is a telltale moment. You
I
look
thought I
at
had one of the
it.
shovels you had in the building site. I was in there, you go.
So what did you take
Hold
out?
on.
Some of the heavy ones? A
Hold-
couple of bonbons.
Oh, I had everything. I went round the full lot, right? I thought, a wee bag, you just fill it up, it'll be 2 or 3 quid.
See, the rest of the world realised that this stuff was expensive 10 years ago, but because you've not been in that time, this is you genuinely having your first ever pick and mix mistake. 'Cause that's a common thing.
I was a bit flustered. I couldn't actually concentrate on Priscilla and Elvis.
Because you'd spent 10 quid in pick and mix.
You're 62-year-old and you're still getting pick and mix anyway. That's weird.
Is there an age limit on pick and mix?
No.
I think I'd be up
See
for
the
that.
62.
See the strawberry.
I thought you'd be more a popcorn man.
No, I don't like popcorn. The strawberry
Popcorn
long
trick.
things.
The dust. Mr. RFK says the Iron Claw. What a film! Get it to the cinema.
Oh, it's a bit
That was your
wrestling,
mistake.
actually.
Oh, is it?
Nobody's seen me in the pictures.
You did.
What do you mean you were in disguise? What
There
do you
was
have
only
on?
4
Yeah.
people in the full cinema.
Well, what?
One
So
of them
one of them
says-
sent me a message. You want me to say?
No, no down there.
Right. Okay.
I made sure.
You on the big recliner?
I swept the place before.
Anyway, was the film any good?
That is ridiculous.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0. It is Kyogo. He heads in from a Ralston cross, and that is what the Celtic fans were looking for. Maybe getting to that stage, a bit anxious as to where the goal comes from. Half an hour gone, Kyogo produces a header, and it's Celtic who lead.
And on his 100th appearance, an assist for Anthony Ralston. And I wonder if Kyogo has actually scored in back-to-back games before this season, because he hasn't been able to get into the groove of the last 2 seasons, but he scored.
I'm thinking he will have. I'm feeling like I'm about to burst your bubble, but I don't know for sure. I will check for you.
Scored against St Mirren last Sunday in the cup.
Oh no, he had a good Hearts and Atletico Madrid back to back.
There you are.
Once back to back. No, it's not even back to back league games for the first time either. Stand down.
I only posed the question.
I know you did. But Mark, that's the start. I was going to say we're maybe not start. We're a bit into the game now, but in that territory where you start to dread the half-time whistle if you're a Celtic fan.
Yeah, no doubt it's a good time to score, that old cliche, but it is when maybe there's a few wee grumbles in the crowds. Good time to get yourselves in front. And for Kyogo, he's had a fair bit of criticism this season because he's now been at his prolific best, but it goes to show you good management from Brendan Rodgers. Wee change in position, added a wee bit of energy maybe to his game, coming at it from a different angle where he scored his goals. Same again today. So all good for Celtic, all good for Kyogo.
I think sometimes because it's Celtic, you just get a bit frustrated. Oh, they've not scored in the first 30 minutes. They're playing against a good Kilmarnock side that Derek McInnes has worked all week to make sure they're well drilled. You've got to be patient. It's all about winning the game, but first goal's always important, and a good header for Kyogo there to set that up. And you would imagine Celtic, if defensively they're strong, will go on and win this comfortable.
And is that again for the umpteenth time since he came here? The importance of his movement, Gordon. If you're Derek McInnes and you've got Wright and Finlay and those guys and Mayo and all those guys in there, you're sort of hoping that Kyogo doesn't get a header inside the penalty box given his stature, but it's just a sort of floated ball by Anthony Ralston, and Kyogo's managed to peel round the back and get all the space he wants, heads it back across Will Dennis. But it feels like everything he does stems from his movement.
His movement's absolutely brilliant. He comes alive in the box. I know that he's playing that number 10. It's a little bit different for him, but you just see him. He looks at where a defender is and he peels on the back of a defender. The defender's got to watch the cross. Defender, by the time the cross comes in, has no idea that Kyogo has peeled enough back to just have a nice lovely header. He controls the header well. It's a very well taken goal, and I've got to say, good ball from Ralston.
I'm glad we got a goal because it was so quiet. I was about to descend into, have you ever seen a famous footballer at the cinema? That was about it. That was as exciting as it was going to get. hearing from Gordon Dalziel, but we got a goal. We're a bit busier than we were. Still nothing at the Tony Mac, still nothing in Dundee, still nothing in the capital for Hearts Motherwell either. But Kyogo has Celtic in front,
even as a
level 1-1 Aberdeen Hibs.
Committed Motherwell fan, you must be slightly surprised that there are no goals at Tynecastle.
No, not really, to be honest. It's a long way to go.
Surprised we've not scored, Hugh.
Oh,
yeah,
are you?
Exactly.
Especially with the bear.
Well,
Right.
excuse me. I mean, we've spoiled the punchline here. But which Scottish Premiership team out with the Old Firm has scored the most goals in the league this season?
Don't tell me.
I will tell you. It is the Steelmen.
Is that why Blair Spittle is out this afternoon? He's got sore shoulders from carrying Motherwell for so long.
If you were carrying the bear, you'd have sore shoulders. He's a big laddie, but he's been doing his bit. I now need to just quickly check to make sure that the one that Aberdeen or Hibs have scored hasn't drawn that level. But certainly going into today, I'm sure that was the stat.
Yeah, Blair Spittle scored 5 of those goals in the league, but 9 overall, so he has a huge miss. He has came onto a game this season, there's no doubt about it. He's got great ability. I knew Blair when he was a younger boy at Dundee United, played in a number of positions, but Stuart Keltwell seems to have found him a nice wee position to play, more attacking role.
Yep, Hugh, I think you'll find, even though they're in 7th, Motherwell have scored 35, which is bettered only by the 53 of Rangers and the 58 of Celtic. So
bizarre.
There you go.
Bizarre.
If you're in that dressing room, you're in no doubt where the problem lies. So, you know, you're looking at Bevis McGarvey and the rest of them going.
Particularly interesting because the N word that Hugh hates, narrative, gone into this season. How are you going to replace Kevin Van Veen's goals? How can you and it's been not a problem, but it's the other.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the defence, the goalkeeper, even Liam Kelly coming under some pressure, heavy criticism this season, but Stuart Keltwell stuck by him. But if you're sitting there, you're going, listen, I know for a fact you'd be sitting in the dressing room thinking, 100%. I'm doing my job.
100%.
Any chance you lads can?
I'd be pointing the fingers at the goalkeeper in the back four and ask them to be replaced immediately.
I told you that story about Chris Commons remember I was talking on Thursday night about when we blew the league at Inverness.
Yeah.
And we flew back and we had the meeting in the manager's office, in Laney's office, and we were all sitting there
back, eh?
I know how the other half live. And said, he's going nuts, Lenny's going absolute bananas, and what's going on, and we're blue and this and that and the next thing, what's the problem? And everybody's quiet head down, and Chris was just in the club a few weeks and he stood up and went, the problem is, who was in goals? Maybe he's Foster, Wilson, Izagir and Mulgrew. They can't keep the ball at the net. He scored 2 that night, so he was like, you have done my job. He named us, he named everyone else.
Did that go down?
Like a lead balloon.
Not great.
No. To be fair, we didn't say much at the time because we were all gutted. But
balled it.
And is that uncommon then to be dug out like that? Is it?
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah.
Sitting in a dressing room and saying, by the way, what about this guy? And never mind what about this guy. What about these 5?
But people must have a go individually then at each other, no?
Oh, of course. There's been many a fight and many an argument over something.
This was like Chris Commons took the floor and said Wilson's hopeless.
And everybody was going like, yeah,
it's about time somebody said it.
Lenny was like, I think you're right there, Chris.
And there's 2 ways of looking at it. You say he's only in the door, look at the cheek of this guy having the brass neck to say it, or he's only in the door, it must be really obvious if he's managed to pick it up so quickly.
Exactly. But he was a great signing. He came, he scored in his debut. No, he scored in his debut, I think, in the semi-final against Aberdeen, and he played a couple of games. He scored 2 that game. But he obviously thought, I've had enough of these clowns at the back.
Was no one inclined to, as we say in Glasgow, stick one on him?
He would never have got away with that, Maddie.
Yeah.
You can imagine these guys like Tam Forsyth and all that in that dressing room, they come in, done that. Oh, end of story.
End of story.
He wouldn't have scored another 2.
Ding ding, round 1.
Oh, he would never have got away with that. Never.
But
I like it.
I like that. He says what he feels, doesn't he?
Brilliant.
Not that I've ever forgot it.
Clearly it didn't get to you. Heavy rain falling at Dens Park. We know that pitch is not necessarily good at holding up under these conditions, so hopefully it doesn't come to much. It's chucking it down everywhere by the looks of it.
Heavy rain Tayside, then McDermott Park will be a bit funny tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
Unfortunately, that was the forecast at 3 o'clock today for heavy rain.
Thanks for that. You've been watching the weather all morning.
Yeah. I like to keep up in the weather.
Chance Callum McGregor probably should do better. He's inside the box, he's going to scoop it over the bar. Good chance for Celtic to double their advantage, but it doesn't come to the end result. Alloa 1, Cove 0. Scott Taggart with a penalty there as well for the Wasps to take the lead. And you just wonder, you always talk about timing and good and bad times to score. If Celtic were to get another before the break, that really changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it changes the dynamic. I mean, I think Kilmarnock are not out of the game by any stretch of the imagination, but a second one before half time really has a big psychological weight along with it. So that's the Celtic role, to try and get another goal.
And plus the fact, if you're daring, you can keep yourself still in the game. His bench is quite strong for getting goals. You know, he can bring people on that can get him that point, but I just feel that the next goal will be the one that seals it for Celtic, and I think Celtic will certainly go and win this game.
Well, they can be very happy with the way they've played. They've been very happy with the goal. It's a wonderful spot from Anthony Ralston. It gets Kyogo, and Kyogo's finish is terrific, so you can ask no more, other than a second goal before half time.
Yeah, that Alloa goal was the last goal to get in Scotland, so nothing else to update you with, but maybe we should update ourselves with this question, Hugh, shall we?
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 6 players to be signed by either Celtic or Rangers from the MLS are Jose Cifuentes, who came to Rangers from Los Angeles. Alistair Johnston went to Celtic from Montreal. James Sands, who went to Rangers from New York City. Matt Polster, who went to Rangers from Chicago Fire. Freddie Lundberg went to Celtic also from Chicago Fire. And Morris Edu went to Rangers from Toronto.
Well done if you got them right. Well done to, in particular, Matondo, who was in third place, steel bronze medal. Thomas Snedden, second fastest, but the winner was Stephen Lauder. Well done to you, Stephen. We'll have a Who Am I after the break. That's when Gordon Dale really comes into his own. The Who Am I still to come. Anyway, 42 gone at Celtic Park. Celtic 1, Killie 0, Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1, and apart from that, blanks across the board. Hearts Motherwell, Livy St Mirren, and Dundee against Ross County. Will we get any before the break, or will all the teams just see themselves into the interval and go again in the second 45? Hopefully there's something else to add to the list before we do blow that half-time whistle.
Well, Celtic would love a second goal, that's for sure. But again, I expressed my surprise. Hearts and Motherwell. Motherwell can score 3 at Pittodrie. I think if you get a goal at Tynecastle. Likewise, Hearts scoring against everyone. Drawn a blank so far. Livy, St Mirren. I am surprised by that from a St Mirren perspective. Livy score fewer goals than anybody, so I'm not surprised about them. But I am surprised from St Mirren's point of view. And Dundee, Ross County, probably Mark Wilson and myself were in agreement. It's a draw written all over it from early morning.
Ange Postecoglou's Spurs losing at home to Wolves just before the break.
I'll end up 2-1. They'll leave it late
Hopefully.
all the time, don't they, Spurs?
Oh, he's got the golden touch. They scored.
Well, they conceded late for a while, didn't they? And then go back to scoring.
But hold on, Wolves went to Stamford Bridge and won.
Yep.
So
but
they know
Chelsea
We
are
could go there
hopeless.
to Stamford Bridge and win. They're a poor side.
The half-time whistles are starting to go down the divisions. No VAR there, of course, which tends to get things moving along a bit quicker. Although I don't think we've had loads of VAR drama in the first half in the Premiership. A couple of bits at Aberdeen against Hibs, but we are edging towards the end of the first halves here. And you just wonder if any team will put their foot to the floor, try and get that breakthrough before the break, or settle for what they have got. Celtic have certainly dominated at Celtic Park. They've not created loads of chances, but Kyogo took the one that came along for him. A really good header back across the goalkeeper after a nice cross from Anthony Ralston on his 100th Celtic appearance.
The interesting thing for us when we open the lines at 5 o'clock, the eyewitness account, those who were there sitting in the rain at Celtic Park, quantify your rate of pleasure or displeasure.
Well, I was going to say, Hugh, I said on Thursday night that I think we've got to the stage now that I don't think it's really performance related. It's result, dependent now, how the fans feel. 1-0, if this stays 1-0, the Celtic fans, I'm sure, will be happy after the game. However, if it's 1-0 going into the 80th minute, the nerves that go round the stadium and onto players get even greater, makes it difficult to play in. But if it finishes 1-0, I don't think there'll be many grumbles at that, because people aren't looking for the perfect performance.
I think what it probably does do is shift that bit that Brendan Rodgers is talking about, though. Narrative. If you start winning your games 3-0 and 4-0, then I think that the mood
I can understand that,
because everyone's banging on about momentum and how Rangers have it, and then Brendan Rodgers is saying, well, we're hardly lacking in momentum because of the result.
I think if you have Palmer,
we did say just before the break maybe we'd get something.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Dundee, and it is Scott Tiffany with the strike just before the break. On 45 minutes he was through 1-on-1. He slipped the ball low past Wickens, who has been a busy man in the last game and a half. Couldn't keep this one out though, and it's Dundee 1, Ross County 0.
Tony Dock continued to do a good job at Dens. Won at home against St Johnstone last week, having gone 1 down, 1-2-1 in the end, and has taken the best route, goal up this weekend against Ross County. But Don Cowie, I think, will bring a nice calm approach to Ross County, and when they scored at Ibrox midweek to make it 1-1, the shockwaves reverberated.
That's about as close as Celtic have come to making it. Two chances really for Matt O'Reilly. There was a shot saved, then a header, it was cleared off the line, and Celtic might well have gone into this half-time break 2 up, but it remains 1. Matt O'Reilly started the season in brilliant goal scoring form, got to 10 quite quickly.
He's been stuck in, he's tailed off a little bit, but he'll come back because he's a quality player. It would have been a nice cushion for Celtic to get into, but I think Brendan Rodgers will be happy with 1 just now.
Half time at Pittodrie. Here's Dave Galloway.
Half time, a really entertaining one, Gordon. Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1, end to end from the first whistle, with Hibs going ahead after 12 minutes. Maizan Malida slipped in Martin Boyle, who went round Kelleroos to coolly slot home. That lead, though, lasted just 3 minutes. Bojan Majovski's volley parried by David Marshall, and Nicky Devlin was first in there to force the ball over the line. An open, competitive first half with a few meaty challenges going in for good measure. Hibs keeper Marshall slapped away a very dangerous corner, whipped in from the far side by Connor Barron, and also came off his line very well indeed to deny Majovski, who'd raced through the middle. The away side looking dangerous coming forward, but Aberdeen perhaps even more so, and Leighton Clarkson slid to meet Majovski's cross, only to see the ball hit the crossbar. However, Hibs went close with Maulida's shot from a tight angle, forcing a pretty decent save from Roos. Like I say, really entertaining stuff end to end here at Pittodrie. A large crowd here as well. I don't think we're done with the scoring just yet. At the interval, Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1.
No scoring at all yet. Oh, hold on a second, let me give you one of these right at the end of the half.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's Livy 1, St Mirren 0. Teti Yenge, he's been coming into good form since signing, scored that dramatic winner last week at Firhill, and he's got the opener just before the break. That'll change the team talks there. We do have the half-time whistle at Tynecastle. Roger Hanna.
Half-time, Hearts 0, Motherwell 0. A fascinating first half. Hearts, as you would expect, Gordon dominating the possession, but Motherwell probably the best of the chances to actually break the deadlock. That started in the 3rd minute. Jack Vale making progress in the inside right channel and finding a shot across the face of Zander Clark's goal beyond the far post. 6 minutes of free kick and then swinger from Alec Coughlin. It was Paul McGinn, the Motherwell defender, who actually gets hit to it, and it required tipped over the bar by his captain and goalkeeper Liam Kelly to keep it at 0. In 18 minutes, Motherwell back in the front foot. Both Theo Bair, who's had 8 in his last 8 games, and Harry Payton both had a sight of goal and a melee inside the penalty box. Hearts lucky to escape there. Lawrence Shanklin didn't escape though. 5 minutes later he was booked. The only caution of the first half, sliding into Vale, who's proving something of a problem for the Hearts defence to cope with. And it was Vale again on loan from Blackburn Rovers, who threatened in 37 minutes. Harry Payton, who's playing a slightly more advanced role in the absence of Blair Spittle, he fed a lovely ball through the middle. Vale get away from the Hearts defenders and he fired a shot wide when he had to hit the target and test Xander Clark. Be interesting to see if Motherwell pay for that in the second half. At the break at Tynecastle, Hearts 0, Motherwell 0.
Sounds like an interesting one there. What about Celtic Park? The whistle's gone, Gabriel.
Yes, it has, Gordon. At half-time, it's Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0. Kyogo's header after half an hour, giving the hosts the lead at the interval. It's been better from the champions. Been criticised for some stuttering performances over recent weeks, but they were good in that first half, moving the ball around with a bit more purpose, although they will still want to create more chances. Early on, captain Callum McGregor set the tone. He broke through the midfield, fed Lewis Palmer, who cut in, but was shut down by goalkeeper Will Dennis. A good save, but Palmer really should have scored there. Celtic were starting to motor. They were moving the ball around the edge of the Killie box well. Ida and Kyogo linking up. They just couldn't quite get a shot off between them, but the pressure eventually broke the visitors down. Anthony Ralston on his 100th appearance for the club, a lovely floated ball, just stood it up and found Kyogo, who'd managed to find space at the back post, as he always seems to do. Header back across the goal, and it was 1-0. Achilles' best chance of the half came just after that. A Liam Donnelly header from an in-swinging corner forced a good save from Joe Hart. And then just before stoppage time there, McGregor had a scoop shot over. He should have done better. Matt O'Reilly with a double chance just before the whistle. First volley well saved by Dennis, and then a header cleared off the line by Corey and Daba. Really could have been 2-0 going down the tunnel there. But the game is far from over. Celtic will hope more of the same in the second half, can produce more goals and move them 3 points clear at the top of the table for at least 24 hours. Half time here, Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0.
What about Dens Park, Fraser Wishart?
Time, Gordon, but it's Dundee 1, Ross County 0, and it was Scott Tiffany was the man to break the deadlock right on 45 minutes with an individual goal through 1-1 with the goalkeeper. The first chance of the game came in 3 minutes. Luke McCowan drove forward from midfield. He set up Lyle Cameron, whose fierce 25-yard shot was tipped wide at full stretch by George Wickens. Good save by the big goalkeeper. 2 minutes later, Eamon Brophy at the other end was inches wide, a curling shot from 25 yards. Trevor Carson beaten. Brophy looking really lively, then twisted and turned inside the box to find a yard on the angle. His fierce shot was saved by Trevor Carson with his chest at the near post. Good save of the keeper. He stood tall. At the other end, Dan Costello did well on the right hand side, cross to the back post. Scott Tiffany set up Lyle Cameron for another shot. This time it was deflected off Ifeti and just looped over the bar. The shot looks as if it's goal bound. All those chances in the first 25 minutes. Beck got involved. Owen Beck on the left hand side, deep cross to the back post, and his opposite full-back Jordan McGee, who scored a few goals recently, he arrived at the back post, looping header tipped over the bar by Wickens, and then Dundee keeper Carson, the best save of the half so far, kept the score level. A brilliant reflex save from a Simon Murray header from close range. He's only about 6 yards out, and the big keeper stuck his hand to his left hand side to push it away. Very open game, Dundee with most of the possession. County always a threat on the break, and a Lyle Cameron shot deflected into the arms of Wickens was the closest we got as we headed to half time. A real blow for County. They've been decent in what's been a good 45 minutes to watch so far, but given the Livy late goal, you have to think that County need to get a goal and get back into this and get something from this game before they play Livy next Saturday. Half time at Dens Park, Dundee 1, Ross County 0.
A late goal and a late whistle at Livingston, but it is half time, David Friel.
Yeah, it's half time, Gordon. Livingston 1, St Mirren 0. I think it's fair to say Livingston are starting to dream. Is this the day they finally win a league match again after over 4 months? 47 minutes this game, there was a lot of action, wasn't really a clear-cut chance, but then Tete Yengi, the hero against Thistle last weekend, pounced to put Livingston ahead, give them a priceless lead. St Mirren had probably been on top. Caelan Boyd-Munce has been outstanding in midfield for the
Bit of technical difficulty by the sounds of it at Livingston. Will give David Friel the chance to turn himself off and back on again, and we'll do a full roundup of the half-time scores next.
Number 1 for football in Glasgow and the West. 0141 951 1025. Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Let's try again. Who knows what the wonders of modern technology will bring up here. David Friel, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Gordon. Can you hear me?
Yes, on you go.
Yeah, so half time, Livingston 1, St Mirren 0. As I say, Livingston starting to dream they could finally win a league match for the first time in over 4 months. For 47 minutes, wasn't really a clear-cut chance, but then Tete Yengi pounced to put them ahead. He scored the winner against Partick Thistle last weekend. He's put them in front at the break. Here, St Mirren probably feel it's a bit harsh. They've been good. Caelan Boyd-Munn's been outstanding, but they haven't tested Shamal George at all. Then 2 minutes into added time, Iobalai, low shot, saved by Zach Heyman, but only spilled it out to Yengi. He couldn't make any mistake from 6 yards. Huge goal for Livy, could be a huge goal in their battle to stay up, and we'll see if they can hold on the second half. Half time, Livingston 1, St Mirren 0.
Half time scores then in the Scottish Premiership: Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1, Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 1, Ross County 0, Hearts 0, Motherwell 0, and Livingston 1, St Mirren 0. In the Championship, it's Airdrie 1, Ayr United 1, Dunfermline 1, Arbroath 0, Inverness 1, Partick Thistle 0, and Queen's Park 0, Morton 0. Into League 1, Alloa 1, Cove Rangers 0, Annan 1, Stirling Albion 1, Edinburgh City 0, Queen of the South 0, Falkirk 3, Hamilton Accies 1, and Montrose 2, Kelty Hearts 0. In League 2, it's Bonnyrigg Rose 0, East Fife 2, Clyde 1, Dumbarton 0, Elgin City 2, Stenhouse Muir 1, Forfar 3, Peterhead 0, Stranraer 1, the Spartans 0. And if the English Premier League floats your boat, it finished earlier on. Brentford 1, Liverpool 4. At half time, it's Burnley 0, Arsenal 2, Fulham 0, Villa 1, Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0, Forest 1, West Ham 0, and Spurs 0, Wolves 1. We'll get the second halves up and running next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. Looking to sell your Volvo? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
Looking to get car or van insurance double quick? To mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. Car or van, work or play. Compare insurance with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
We are underway already in the second half. Some of the games back up and running. There's been a change for Celtic at the break, and it's Luis Palma who makes way for Yang. So very much like for like. Whether that is injury related or maybe just wanted to mix things up, we will find out, I'm sure. See what Brendan Rodgers has to say. And actually a positive start at the beginning of the half for Kilmarnock. Joe Hart possibly could have caught that one. He punches it and it goes out for a corner to Kilmarnock. Yang, Mark, got some really positive feedback from the Asian Cup. Meant to have had some, nice sub-appearances there for South Korea. He's come back and no one's really properly grabbing that position as sort of number one winger. So maybe it is just tactical. Maybe see what he can do in the second half. Yeah. And maybe Palma's struggling.
Well, I said it was a big day for Palma because he's been underperforming in recent weeks, and he maybe have found himself lucky to start. I thought Yang, when he came on last week, certainly looked lively. But probably when Daz would have played, the manager would have been questioning what studs he had on because he kept slipping. But that was down to the pitch, not himself. He was positive. And by the way, since he's came to Celtic, the one thing I like about Yang is, as a winger, he's always positive. Now, he might lose it a lot, he might run it out the pitch, but he doesn't shy away from taking on the fullback, and that's, well, who knows if it's an injury to Palma or Brendan Rodgers just seen enough from Palma in the first half and thought Yang deserves his chance.
Yeah, because it clearly hasn't always worked, Gordon, but the only thing that's worse than that is somebody who doesn't try and doesn't take anyone on. I know that's been a bugbear of yours in recent times.
Yeah, well, if he's had some good reports coming back from the Asia Cup, he comes back with bags of confidence in, Gordon. Hopefully kick on his Celtic career. Sometimes it just takes a little time to settle into a club, especially the size of Celtic, especially the competition in the wide areas, because every time you step on that pitch you're under pressure because they've got so many options and very good players in those wide areas. So interesting to see what he does second half. I've got a funny feel Palmer might have been a caution. I don't see 1-0 down. They could have probably finished the game with a 2-0 with O'Reilly at the end of the half. Would they have made that substitution right away?
Who knows? Lennon Miller heads over from a corner. I'm sure his old man scored a header or two at Tynecastle for the home side in his time, but his boy trying to do it for the visitors heads over from that corner kick and still goalless. An interesting half by the sounds of it. I think fairly predictably Hearts had most of the ball and the territory, but Roger Hannah telling us Motherwell had the best chances. So will we get the breakthrough in that one? First introduction from Yang, by the way, was to run all the way up the pitch, carry the ball and then win a corner down the other end. That sort of positive outlook that Mark Wilson was speaking of.
I think Palmer probably left the game because the end product's not there with him. You know, you can over elaborate at times, and perhaps Yang more direct, and clearly Brendan Rodgers feels a change is necessary because 1-0, you know, it's a precarious lead.
Yeah, the only way we'll know, I'm guessing, is when Brendan Rodgers tells us after the game, whether there was a niggle or an injury to Lewis Palmer, or if he just decided to mix it up.
Has been the one area it's been a massive downgrade, you've got to say. When Jota left, Jota kind of had it all. He had the tricks, he had the flicks, but he had the end product. He had goals, a variety of goals, but he had assists as well in his locker, so it wasn't just for the crowd. He really had that end product. But look, if the model's there and you sell a winger like that for 25 million, you've got to hold your hands up and say that's good business. But replacing him, very difficult.
Well, you'd imagine you'll see Nicholas Kuhn for Maeda at some point, because, Hugh, this was the week it became very clear that not only will we certainly not see Liel Abada today, but perhaps ever again in a Celtic strip. Who knows? There's no point in speculating, but it's clearly going to take quite a lot for this to sort itself out. Hugely complex issue, as I think we've covered many times, and you wonder if Celtic are looking at life after Liel Abada.
I feel desperately sorry for Abada, and I thought that Brendan Rodgers hit the correct tone when he said, I think of him as a son. You know, his son's in that age bracket. As I said to you last night in Super Scoreboard, I have 2 grandchildren of that age, and you know, if they were somewhere and I was fretting over them, it's a very difficult situation. I think Celtic now have to look for a football solution to a deeply personal problem, and the solution might be to let Abada go for a while and see if there comes a time when world affairs allow him to go back to Celtic, or whether Celtic simply say, we have an extraordinary situation, we'll need to let him go.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's Aberdeen who score. They take the lead. Jamie McGrath from close range. It was good build-up play. Duke back in the team, doing well. He was the provider, and McGrath from close range with the finish. And it's Aberdeen 2, Hibs 1.
Game of the day so far. And you know, it swings both ways. You have Mick Montgomery now with the Hibs fans saying he's not making enough of an impact here, not winning enough football matches, but it's 2-1. The way Aberdeen go at it right now, we'll probably get another 3 or 4 goals in this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that'll be the end of it, Hugh, but the magic of the half-time team talk, 2 managers getting in there, and obviously the experienced one, Neil Warnock, has come out in top so far. But I agree with Hugh. I think with those 2 teams' defences, the way they play, I think there's a couple of more goals in that game.
Good start to the second half for Aberdeen anyway. Neil Warnock will be happier with the beginning than he would have been at the start of the game when they went 1 behind.
Yeah, without doubt. Just on the Abada one, you know, that's going to be another big miss for Celtic. I know Abada isn't everybody's cup of tea in terms of a wide player. He's not got the tricks and flicks that Jota had, no doubt about that, but he's still provided plenty assists for Kyogo and Maeda, and plenty goals in his 2.5 years. I think around about the 30 goal mark, 15 goals his first season, 14 he's setting. That's a good return for a wide player. So if you take that out the team, as well as Jota's influence at the team, and you're not getting the same return from Kuhn or Palma, not so much Maeda this year as well, then It's a lot of goals you're taking out and a lot of chances created you're taking out your team.
The terrible irony for Celtic is that the fans are crying out for quality, more quality, and yet it's because of a group of fans that they are losing the quality of Abada, because he feels he cannot play in front of that group of fans, and that's why on a temporary or on a permanent basis he'll be out of Celtic Park shortly.
Is it probably a bit more complex than that as well? Because I'm sure those fans would say, well, look at the reception he got when he came on. They're trying to make a distinction between backing him and sticking up for a cause. Granted, we can't understand how Liel Abada feels about that, and you can understand why he wouldn't be comfortable about the full thing.
I'm not denying people political conscience, and I'm not denying them the right to do what their conscience tells them to do, but the fact of the matter is, for that specific reason, Abada will not stay at Celtic.
Could be getting nervy at Dunfermline. We said they needed to beat Arbroath. Have been pegged back. Thomas O'Brien on 52. Dunfermline 1, Arbroath 1.
James McPake, with the best will in the world, he couldn't
survive that.
Yeah, no. A defeat he couldn't.
No, I don't think so either.
Mark, get your employers sorted here. Inverness 2, Partick Thistle 0, I'm afraid, you Jags fans.
The only one positive, Chris Dale will be thinking, what was 20 fish suppers? I've got a saviour.
You could have even got them one between two.
Not a chance. Listen, just in the corridor bumped into our very own Gary Spence, who said he knows that chippy well, and it was the right decision not to pay for it because it's a good chippy, but too expensive.
I agree with Gordon.
Bad food for the young boys. You don't want to promote that sort of eating.
You should have gone down that road to start with. You should have said, boys, you're athletes. You shouldn't have advertised the fact that you're too tight to pay for it. You know what?
See, when I went home and I thought about that, I thought I could have got it that easier by saying I'm trying to promote healthier eating.
There was a chance a few moments ago for Matt O'Reilly, by the way, that I neglected to tell you about, but it remains Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 0, and game of the day is probably out with the top flight. Falkirk 3, Hamilton Accies 2.
Come on, Hamilton. Come on, Hamilton.
First against second. What have we got against the Bairns?
Not just like John's a mate of mine.
Right, okay. Is that the way it is?
Aye, got to.
Sticking up for his mates. What about John?
Oh, what about producer John? Who employed you?
Well, he's a mate, but not as much as
John
Rankin.
John Nethermate.
I shared a car with Ranks for a couple of years, going to Dundee United every morning.
So anybody you share a car with is a mate?
Of course.
Did you ever buy him a fish supper?
John, when they touch a fish supper.
Yeah, what's his story?
One McDonald's a year at the end of the season, and one Coca-Cola on holiday. Is all he allowed himself.
I forgot about this, Hugh Keevins. Let's get it up and running.
Okay.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Dazzler, get the jigsaw ready because this is a puzzler.
I'm not really bored today.
Oh, come on.
Listen, the pick and mix can't have been that expensive.
I'm not feeling the love.
It's like a guy who's been dumped on Valentine's Day or something. That kind of vibe.
I wish
for
I
you.
had.
Did you say dumped? Dumped. Right, just double checking.
A D at the end of that. Aye, it's not at the beginning of that. Sorry, not P.
Right.
I have played alongside Didier Agat and Paul Hartley. I have been managed by Ian McCall and Alan Pardew. I won my only major honour in Scotland and captained the team to victory. I never played a professional game for a club in the country where I was born. Who am I? So, played alongside Didier Agat and Paul Hartley. Been managed by Ian McCall and Alan Pardew. Won my only major honour in Scotland and captained the team to victory. I never played a professional game for a club in the country of my birth. Who am I?
Who am I? Get it going. Come on, look at him. He's got a wee glint in his eye
He
now.
had that twinkle in his eye there. Right?
He can't resist the teaser when it comes along.
I think it's a good tease.
I'm going to hold my guess off to a sort of a narrow it down.
Oh yeah,
So I've had a message in from friend of the show Simon Donnelly. He wants to give Amanda a mention because she's got you lot in her ears in the middle of the Sahara Desert.
Wow.
I saw he was doing that.
Trekking across the Sahara Desert for the Celtic Foundation. Who would have thought that somebody is in the Sahara Desert listening to you whinging about the price of popcorn and pick and mix?
You couldn't imagine me sitting in the sand, can you know? He'd be a bit
Why?
too fit.
Oh, he'd train the Sahara with flip-flops on.
The sand would be up.
He does like he's always got flip-flops
The
on.
sand would be up to there in the money.
Wait
for me, Sarah.
You act like you're 6'5". I reckon you are at the most an inch bigger than Simon Donnelly. Genuinely.
I don't even. Is he bigger?
I don't even know if you are,
the same
honestly.
size.
Then we said
This is a genuine mental block of yours. Take it from a neutral observer. I promise you.
Simon Donnelly played with Celtic.
You can repeat it in any passive aggressive way that you want.
Could walk under this table here.
I'm telling you.
Absolutely no
He's taller than
chance.
you think.
And you're smaller than you think.
No, I'm quite tall. I'm quite tall.
You're one of the old guys that shrink.
If I straighten my back when I'm
With your gout and everything, you're shrinking.
I'm just under 6.
So Sid messaged you that just now. I wonder how far he's walking in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
What's the fun in that?
Celtic Foundation.
It's not for fun, is it? It's for charity. A concept.
All right, okay.
Very much lost on you.
Pick a better charity to walk.
I'm going to do that. Well, I'm going Kilimanjaro, so I'm going to do the charity. I'm going to do cash for kids. So start sending envelopes of cash into me, and I'll pass it on to Cash for Kids. That's a good shout, isn't it?
When is Kilimanjaro for you?
July.
Wow.
I would love
Let's
to
see if
that.
we can raise £2 million for Cash for Kids.
I think Sid's done that already, though. I think that's old hat to him.
No, he done the one in Peru. And
how far did they walk?
He got sent down the mountain. No, Sid.
I'm starting to regret this conversation. I have no idea. I'm just the messenger.
I struggled at Murder Hill when I played with Rangers, and that was only going up and doing a wee hill with sand in it. Never mind the Sahara Desert.
Yang's been pretty good for Celtic. He's been positive since he came on. Injected a bit down that left hand side, but he's about to get a new partner there because Bernabei will come on. Greg Taylor's first game back, probably not surprising. This is the old 60 minutes.
Chaos. The fans inside Celtic Park, they don't know what they're getting. They know they're going to get entertainment one way or the other.
Can I just say though, I'm not happy with this because you adopted Bernabei early on. You
stuck
with him and stuck with him and stuck with him even when it looked beyond help. But you did disown him. You admitted it that you were cutting all ties, but now that he had a semi-good game against St Mirren, you're trying to reclaim him again.
I've forgiven him for was it Ross County that he didn't chase back? I hated that. That's what really annoyed me. And it was like you fall out with somebody a couple of weeks and then you make up.
Fair enough. Anyway, he will come on. He has in fact come on. Bernabei for Greg Taylor. Close to Dundee second. McCowan's 25-yard shot heading for the top corner, but just goes wide. Just someone sent me a message on Twitter earlier because his mates dressed him up as Hugh Keevins at a party.
Is he standing next to us?
So he's got, as you would expect, shirt and tie, suit jacket, glasses, grey hair, and a sign on his back that says Specky Chew.
That's good. Yeah. It's in case anyone was didn't know who you were.
You got to question that boy.
I like it.
But he's changed his attire now, Hugh. You know, to the more
he's
casual,
a bit more trendy look,
looser.
I'm not giving him casual just because he's untucked his shirt. I don't think that counts. But Andy Dalglish it was. So well done for being
Andy,
for being the only person who's ever dressed up as Hugh Keevins.
No, what I noticed last week, Hugh, what you were wearing, I was going to say, you were wearing a long sleeve polo shirt, which is quite nice, but you had a regular shirt underneath it.
Layers up because it's freezing in there.
I've never saw that before.
Yeah, well,
a shirt under.
He's a trailblazer.
He's looking good. The back of his shirt's touching his heels.
The employers are pulling one back. Hartfield one back.
Yeah.
Inverness 2.
Always good for a goal. 1. Fitzpatrick, always good for a goal.
Oda shot deflected into the side net for Hearts. O'Donnell on for Gent for Motherwell, which is
still the only game in the Premiership with no goals. I'm astonished. That would be my first choice for the opening goal of the day.
On the Inverness Partick game, when of course we were up there yesterday, I was just speaking to some of the people involved with Inverness. Duncan Ferguson, he's a man to behold. I mean, wants to take everything to do with the training. Now I know some people out there might just think, well, that's what managers employed for. But you've got assistant coaches and so on and so forth to take certain bits of training. He's wanting to be hands-on with every single thing.
You're not going to disagree, are you?
No, that's what they said. Yes, they just let him do it.
It's an interesting change for Motherwell, because Georgie Gent obviously wide left, Gordon comes off, Stephen O'Donnell, who's right-footed, goes on. But remember, Gilly Biabu was signed. Motherwell signed loads of left-sided loads of fullbacks, sorry, but it's actually Adam Devine has gone across to the left. Stephen O'Donnell comes on the right, so Gilly Biabu.
Yeah, I think
he looked alright when he came on against Morton. Wasn't a classic night.
Yeah, down the left hand side. Yeah, he looked okay, but I like Devine, I've got to say. He got a good goal at Pittodrie. Come on a sub against Morton. I thought he made the team look better down that right hand side. So I'm not surprised with that. Look, in the modern day, you can play a right-sided player on the left, no problem at all.
Okay, let's check in on that teaser then, Hugh. A reminder, if you can, please.
Yes, as I go into my top left-hand pocket of the shirt to get it.
Could have just sat it in the desk in front of you.
Very dramatic. I have played alongside Didier Agat and Paul Hartley. I've been managed by Ian McCall and Alan Pardew. I won my only major honour in Scotland and captained the team to victory. I've never played a professional game for a club in the country of my birth. Who am I?
Craig Meikle thinks it might be Jim McIntyre.
No.
James Milne wants to throw in Sean Maloney.
No, not Sean.
And Bobo Baldi.
No.
Keep the guesses coming, please. It is a good question. It's a tough one. Ange Ball had pulled at self-level just after half-time, but João Gomez has put Wolves back in front there. Celtic are penned in a little bit, actually, so all of a sudden the crowd are getting a touch jittery, because it is only 1-0. They've not got that second, and Kelly have got their tails up a little bit. This is where the psychology comes into play.
Well, we always thought that Kilmarnock had it in them. They've got plenty of players in a forward-going sense who can trouble Celtic and thereby irritate the fans. So 1-0, as I say, precarious lead, long way to go.
Yep, this is often where leagues are won. You know, it really is. I'll keep going on about it. It's those tense moments at the end of games. How do you deal with, you know, the pressure? Of course, Hugh's right. You're playing against a side who have got a real attacking threat, and you've got the nerves of the crowd. It's about seeing it out sometimes.
And of course, with Kyogo and Ida playing, you wonder what a change would look like. You know, does Ida go off and it reverts to the sort of more traditional where Kyogo leads the line and then a Paulo Bernardo comes on? You know, if you were looking to do something different, would that be the obvious one?
Well, it depends the shape of the game.
Just come on, and is O on the bench actually? I think he is.
If Brendan Rodgers wants probably a grip of the game in the midfield, if he feels like he's getting a wee bit overrun in there, of course you would bring Bernardo on to partner McGregor and O'Reilly in there, a bit of composure. However, if you just think he ran his race and you want a bit more physicality, go a bit more direct, then O might be your man.
Yeah, Kelly, look back in this, it's a big chance there, a header from Joe Wright. We said there was a bit of height in that Kilmarnock team. Joe Wright with a chance there. Celtic might be feeling a little bit nervy.
Yeah, they need a second goal. Always takes the pressure away. Kilmarnock will grow in confidence. And I said earlier in the show, Derek was sitting there thinking, right, okay, I've got guys on the bench that can come on here and grab me that goal that would get me a terrific point. But I still fancy Celtic.
Some things in Scottish football are inevitable.
Ashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And Lawrence Shanklin scoring goals is one of them. It's Hearts 1, Motherwell 0. It's an Alan Forrest free kick. He's also having a good time of it. He's the provider. And there is Lawrence Shanklin. Time and time again. Poor marking though. Motherwell's defensive performances haven't been great. And Lawrence Shanklin is not the man to give opportunities to. He's found the back of the net.
I know everyone is preoccupied already with thoughts of the Euros, Germany, the opening ceremony. Shanklin is first on the list here. For the striker's role, there's no one you would have before him now.
I think that's an interesting point because...
just very quickly, let me tell you a couple of other things. Ida and Maeda off, Bernardo and Kuhn on. So Kuhn will go wide right, and then back to that more traditional setup with Bernardo in midfield. Got another one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dundee 2, Ross County 0. It's Scott Tiffany with his second of the afternoon. It was a low 20-yard shot. It's kind of skidded off the surface. Wickens did get a touch, but it goes into the back of the net. Right, where were you? Lawrence Shankland?
I was just saying that it's an interesting point Hugh makes, because I think the argument was probably about 6-8 weeks ago, or maybe a wee bit before then, was he going to go? Was he going to get on the plane? He was doing everything right to get on the plane, but I think everybody accepted that he wouldn't be a starter, because Steve Clarke would just go for what he believes in, what's been in the past with Dykes and Adams. However, the goals he's scoring, the variety of goals he's scoring against everybody that comes up against him, he has put himself in the frame. I wonder, does he go right in? Just a natural goal scorer with the way I would finishing touch.
The way I would come at your question would be, well, how could he not come in? If you're so clearly the outstanding candidate, how can you not be there? What would hold you back?
No, not that he'll be at the Euros to start.
I think did I miss one of these as well? I think I might have. Yeah, I think I did. Let me tell you about this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
So many goals at once. We're level again at Pataudry. Aberdeen 2, Hibs 2, Marcondes. There was a VAR check, but the goal stands, and what a game we've got in our hands there. It is Aberdeen 2, Hibs 2.
So in the space of 4 days, the aggregate score at Pataudry is home team 5, visitors 5.
You're certainly getting entertainment under Neil Warnock. Plenty of goals, and I've got to say, I don't think it'll be finished. I think there'll be a winner there. I really do. I think there'll be a winner. And obviously we're listening to Dave. Big crowd in at Pataudry. They'll be expecting Aberdeen to go on and try and win this, but that's the game of the day for Dave Galloway at Pataudry.
Yeah, look, for Shankland, the two sides of it are quite obvious. If you want a guy, if you're picking the guy who scores the most goals, obviously you pick Lawrence Shankland. But there are loads of managers at loads of levels of football that would want to stick as close to their kind of style and their tactics, and if he feels that Shea Adams and or Lyndon Dykes does that, they'll play first.
I think that's the point I was making, because everybody sees a striker is scoring goals, then he must play. However, the setup for Steve Clarke, he's pretty pragmatic in terms of being hard to beat. It often starts from the front line and how you press and the positions you take up to make it difficult for opposition. No doubt we need to think about that when we go to the Euros, because the standard of the sides we're playing against is going to be good. So that might just be where he reverts back to a Dykes or an Adams rather than a Shankland who's going to press the way he wants to. It's an interesting debate. I don't think we'll fully really know until the final weeks.
It's also understandable, not right, and I'm not picking right or wrong, it's understandable that if you're Steve Clarke, because this is where international football is different. You've got different players playing for different teams in different systems at different levels. If you're Steve Clarke, it's not wild to think that he might look at his previous Scotland games for performances that he's going to try and replicate. He's going to get at the Euros and think, well, see what we did against Spain, I want to do that again. See what we did against Denmark or whatever, that was a while ago, I want to do that again. And that's where it's not like I get he's scoring loads of goals, but it's still not crazy to think that he might go for Adams or Dykes on the back of that logic.
I think it's a stick on. He'll go for Adams or Dykes.
Oh, you'd go that far?
Yeah, I think it will. I think that's the way Steve Clarke works and operates. I think you're
thinking about Shankland.
Oh, listen, I'm Shankland fan all day long. See someone that scores the goals and the type of goals, and he's scoring regular, the confidence he's getting in, everything about him, absolutely brilliant. But I think you put a great argument up there by saying international football, different players. I've seen guys at club football years ago that played with Rangers and Celtic playing at the top of their game, and every time they went and played with Scotland didn't perform to the levels that we all know they can perform. I'm not saying that with Shankland. So that's why I think international football completely different. Steve Clarke's got a success because that's the way he operates. Shankland will be a massive part of it. Don't get me wrong, but Adams and obviously Dykes will probably be number one just now.
Queen of the South have taken the lead. Marvin's team, Edinburgh City 0, Queen of the South 1. That should cheer him up a bit. Chance at the back post for Danny Armstrong, but he's missed it. And Kelly are very much in this. Celtic fans will be getting nervy because they need a second, and Kilmarnock are threatening.
Well, to go back to the well-worn, draws a disaster, defeats a catastrophe. So, Celtic have to guard against the draw at the very least.
Armstrong is one of those players who can hurt you out of nothing. Celtic will be well aware of that from the previous fixtures against them. So they just need to tread carefully here.
They need that second goal.
Oh yeah,
they need that second goal.
He's now gone into the book, Danny Armstrong. He's had a busy few minutes. Sam Nicholson's replaced Lennon Miller for Motherwell, who trail now thanks to that Lawrence Shankland header.
We need the bear now, Gordon. We need the bear.
And this is what Kilmarnock can do now. Options: Greg Stewart and Kevin Van Veen on to replace Danny Armstrong and Marley Watkins.
That's what I said earlier, Hugh. Kilmarnock have got a strong squad. They've got guys that can come on, change games. They're two experienced players, guys that can get you goals. Another threat, I
remember
chance.
Van Veen going to Celtic Park as a Motherwell player, playing on his own up front, and he terrorised Celtic the whole day long.
It was his last visit to Celtic Park when Celtic took the lead and Motherwell equalised through Kevin Van Veen, and it finished 1-1.
Well,
so there you go.
Yeah, so him coming on is a red flag for Celtic.
Just to let you know, Gordon, I've produced again.
On the teaser, have
you?
What
got
a player.
Yeah.
What a player. Give us the question, Hugh, and I'll remind the listeners.
I have played alongside Didier Agathe and Paul Hartley. I have been managed by Ian McCall and Alan Pardew. I won my only major honour in Scotland and I captained the team to victory. I've never played a professional game for a club in the country of my birth. Who am I?
Is it Mark Viduka, says Harris?
Well, Mark Viduka, a great player. No, it's not him.
Is it Rob Jones?
No.
Sorry, Stephen Graham. And what about Julian Speroni?
The goalkeeper? No.
Delphi Law, got that one wrong. Keep your guesses coming. There is still time on the Who Am I. Gordon Dale might have it.
What do you mean, mate?
No, I said as in he might have it, but you can still
okay.
Calm down.
A good shout that again. I'm well impressed with you in this.
I had a good fight with this guy.
Okay, we'll get to that when the answers
Barney.
on the pitch or off
revealed. Off the pitch. Yeah, a good Barney. And there's
I know that story.
Now he's
the
getting
pennies dropped. I know this. Yeah.
And
Mark.
so will someone else in this show.
There you are, Brian Graham.
Oh, there we are.
Your colleagues are back level. A 77th minute penalty. Inverness 2, Partick 2. Will we get a winner there?
Brilliant, yeah. Yep, Partick, as I say, always good for a goal, and they've got good players at the top end of the pitch. Brian Graham, Fitzpatrick, Wallace, Adoy. Always good to get you something. Never dead and buried. So 2-2, will we get a winner?
Don't forget, we're not far away from opening those phone lines. So when this is all said and done, you come on here and tell us what really happened this afternoon. Celtic fans, you probably are in that nervous period of the game, but whatever happens at the end of
oh no!
Inverness 3, Partick Thistle 2, Nathan Shaw.
You went too early.
Back in front. I told you, these guys clueless in here. You can put us right round about 5 o'clock. Whatever happens on the pitch today, whether it's a victory for Celtic that stretches their lead, whether they're pegged back and it hands the advantage to Rangers, you can give us a call looking for as many opinions on today's football as possible on 0141 951 1025. If you didn't know the number, stick it in your phone, write it down, give us a call in about 25 minutes time. And for you Rangers fans, you're not left out, because we will of course preview the trip to St Johnstone. There is a check for a St Mirren penalty. There was a cross into the box. Ewan Anderson, the referee, has not been told to go to the monitor yet, but we will wait and see.
That would be the height of irony. Stephen Robinson, the man who yesterday said VAR is a waste of money, and he might be about to profit.
We'll be happy about it today.
Yeah.
Funny that, isn't it?
Is it a penalty?
Don't know yet. Need to wait and see. Not been told to go to the monitor yet.
Davy Martindale, the Livy manager, has had a lot of bad luck with VAR recently, so he'll be
still waiting.
Fingers crossed. It'd be ironic though.
Everybody misses penalties at Livy anyway, even if it's given. So, no, even my young team missed a penalty last week at Livy on the stadium as well. Livy's missed a good few. Rangers missed one as well, I think, this season there.
The one that McCausland.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been given.
Yeah, it says the VR
the
decisions.
Do you know whose take on it? Oh, he is going to the screen, so it looks like he will be given. Do you know whose take on it I found interesting? You don't have to agree with it, but I just don't know if I've heard it before from a manager, and that's why I liked it. Stephen Naismith. Did you see his? So his take on it was that ultimately he's in favour of VAR, but that's fine because everyone's got their own opinion. But I think it was important that somebody called part of this out. He said, because that list that came out, the 13 mistakes, I think 3 of them impacted Hearts, certainly a couple. So he would have the right then to have a mump and moan about it. But he said that there's been decisions that have affected us. For me, that's not down to VAR, it's down to decision makers. It's new, there are mistakes. But he says what hasn't helped is the outside noise, sound bites to stoke the fire. Every club knows the process, what the process is, and it doesn't suit every individual agenda, which can deflect away from bad performances or results. And I think that is important. I think as fans and people who we're allowed to kind of say what we want as fans, but people who are in the game, I think at times should maybe know a bit better. Kind of acts, they do all this like, I don't even know why that, and why is that not been checked, and why is this been done? And who was the manager as well earlier this season that was moaning because an offside wasn't clear and obvious, even though offsides are not meant to be clear and obvious.
Yeah.
You wonder if the managers don't know this stuff, and if they don't know it, learn it, or if they are being selective, as Stephen Naismith's alluding to, in terms of deflecting and so on.
Or can you simply have a contrary opinion to Stephen Naismith?
No, that's that. In the least offensive way, I think you're missing the point. It's not about that. It's not about whether you like it or not. It's about whether you haven't bothered to learn the process, or you do know what the process is as a manager, but you're secretly throwing a little soundbite out there to deflect away from your own performances.
Well, I would look at, for example, Stephen Robinson, who's St Mirren side have had a decent season. Is he in need of deflection?
Nah, they'll not score it anyway, to be honest with you.
Missed it.
Have they told you?
Terrible
Nobody
penalty.
scores a penalty.
Terrible penalty. Not a lot of power on it, and it was saved. So they have indeed missed it, St Mirren.
Oh well.
Ground curse for penalties. But I'd agree with Stephen Naismith. I think he's right. I think there's been a lot of that this season, that managers, pointed decision. Like the biggest one, people think, Celtic and Rangers, and I'm only saying this because I feel like, come on. But a lot was made of that decision, and it wouldn't have affected the outcome. But it got glossed over, the actual performance on the day from Rangers and their failings on the day, particularly in that first 45 when they had the chances that they had. And everything was about the decision and how that could have impacted for weeks on end instead of the team's actual failings. And I don't think Rangers are the only ones guilty. I think that's been evident throughout the season. So I think Stephen Naismith's spot on with that one.
And there is a genuine frustration for everybody around this area. I get that, but I think if you were to mark it down, if you were to watch the way managers sometimes contradict themselves, where they'll, on one hand, they'll bemoan and say, we're only supposed to be checking for clear and obvious errors. Why are they checking that? Why are they getting involved? But as soon as something isn't, they'll say, the technology's there, just use it, just check it. Well, that's funny, because 2 weeks ago you wanted minimum intervention. That's the bit that people need to make up their mind on and need to be consistent.
Human nature.
Deflection, it's called, Hugh. It's called deflection.
So close to 2-0.
But deflection is human nature.
So close to 2-0 for Livy as well after that penalty miss. Stephen Kelly tries to lob Zach Hemming after a poor clearance, but it goes wide. Paulo Bernardo, decent chance. Not a sitter or anything, but he should do better than blazing over the bar as he did. So it remains 1-0. It does look like Kilmarnock's little period they had has pulled back a bit, but it's still only 1. And I'm sure Brendan Rodgers would rather a bit more comfort heading into the end of this one.
Well, it's going to become a goal scoring contest as well, between Celtic and Rangers. And if it finishes 1-0 for Celtic today and Rangers go up to St Johnstone tomorrow 3-4, that's an indication of who's currently the more potent of the two teams.
Big result for Alloa. Alloa 4, Cove Rangers 1. Taylor Stephen with the goal round about 5 minutes of the 90. I remember, was it the start of this season when Hibs had goalkeeping injury issues?
Yeah.
They've got them again. David Marshall is coming off. It looked like a face knock actually, and Wallacott is going to come on. So a change in goal, which obviously you don't see too often. And David Marshall coming off, hopefully nothing too serious for him. But if it's a face knock that's forcing him off, we've seen a few of them in recent times. Hopefully he is okay sooner rather than later.
Well,
sorry, just quickly, the Gordondale derby, I've just
How's
spotted
it going?
Airdrie 2, Ayr 3. It's a great game. And that's Airdrie pulled one back, so they were 3-1 down.
I was impressed with the two in the cup. I thought Ayr gave a good account of themselves at Ibrox, and I agree with Mark. I thought Airdrie played very well against Hearts. Just the quality outdone them. But I was impressed with the standard of both of the teams, I've got to say.
Going okay for Scott Brown so far since he's come in. No easy that, taking over midway through a season, then try to put in your ideas and your philosophy, and sometimes you need to limp through until the summer, until you get them pre-season. But actually results going well for him so far.
You love Brownie, don't you? I have never met anybody that loves Scott Brown like this boy, man.
There's plenty out there.
There will be no hat-trick for Scott Tiffany. He's gone off, 81 minutes gone. He got a double for Dundee, probably set them on their way to another important win. Probably the type of win that sums up Dundee this season. Minimum fuss, home game.
Yeah.
Ross County, you are favourites for it, and just do the job quietly.
Yeah, I keep going back to every week. Tony Dock taking that job in management, it's a big step for him, but he's just taking to it so easily. But it's his signings. I think his signings have been good. Tiffany, such a stand-up for Thistle in recent years. Good player. Gets his rewards today.
Inverness 3, Partick Thistle 3.
Go on, Thistle!
Drama in the Highlands.
Big Brian again.
Graham again. 86 minutes gone. You're a busy man this season. He's got his women's team in the final of the Sky Sports Cup as well in a few weeks' time. Of course, we'll play for Partick Thistle the day before. And the scheduling being moved around to facilitate, which was the right thing to do, I think, quite clearly.
Well, they had the dress rehearsal. Was it last week?
No.
Did you see the Partick Thistle go up? It was disallowed.
We talk about VAR
outrageous
and the type of uproar we would have.
By the way, Brian was in my office Monday morning after that, and he was still as angry then as he was at half time. He had a
was
real
it the one
go
at
at the
Pearsall?
Yeah.
I think I've seen that, yeah.
Wow. It was quite something.
What happened?
Well, there was a throw in. Rangers player tried to take it in her own box. She kind of let it run across her body, but stumbled as she did so. And Partick nicked the ball back, played to the edge of the box, shot goal. The referee gave a foul because the player stumbled.
It was a weird one. He was standing right next to it as well. It was a strange decision. Anyway, double change for Kilmarnock. Watson and Murray on, Polworth and Kennedy off. It was David Watson that got Kelly's one goal at Celtic Park the last time the sides met in the East End of Glasgow.
Well, they're running out of time. If the change is to be effective, it'll need to be practically instant. But I'm sure the Celtic crowd are shifting in their seats.
Do you know, if Celtic go out of this, say 1-0, you would still say there's another positive. They went to St Mirren today, clean sheets, and they've not got their strongest back four, let's be honest. So you can always take positives out of games, even if you win 1-0. Well, I'm sure Celtic fans would be delighted with that now.
Not long to go everywhere, so don't forget your chance to phone in and tell us what you've made of the day's action. 01419511025. Write it all down. So Celtic fans, whether you are, well, we'll just hold fire on that because we'll see what the outcome is. But whatever happens, you can reflect on it, and we'll look ahead to Rangers tomorrow. We'll have a look at the other results from the day coming in, some that are in the balance. Are you giving up on your team, Gordon? Can you get a late equaliser at Tynecastle? Can the Bear come up with something?
Well, we're hoping. You're always hoping for that one chance, and away from home. But you got to be careful because Shankland could put the game to bed. 1-0, you would take a point right now, I'll tell you that. But Motherwell have been known for their late comebacks, but it was mostly at Fir Park. So we're just hoping, fingers crossed, the Bear get the ball in the box and let him do his business.
Marcondes with a header saved from Kelleroos. That one's in the balance as well. We're going to get a winner there between Aberdeen and Hibs, 2-2.
We probably both settle for the point right now.
Think so?
Yeah.
Very evenly balanced up there by all accounts, even beyond the obvious scoreboard, which is balanced.
What did I tell you about Nick Montgomery's Hibs teams? 2-2. I mean, that must be about the seventh 2-2 since he took over.
Yeah.
Half chance Kilmarnock into the side netting. David Watson, we said, has come on. He scored on his last trip there in a 3-1 defeat. He's hit the side netting. Just a half chance. It's getting a bit tense as well at Livy. Davy Martindale's been booked, and David Field says the Livy fans are as loud as he's ever heard them. You can insert your own joke about whether that's a low bar or not. They're getting animated there.
Standing next to each other going, sing a wee bit louder, you two of them. But I've got to say, I agree with Mark. Did he not start his career in Scotland 2-2 down at Kilmarnock?
Yeah.
He likes that.
He's had so many.
I'm waiting for a little St Mirren goal to get a full coupon up this afternoon on here.
What, you're at on here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No financial gain.
No,
just pride.
no. Just
pride at play.
Pride.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hugh. Let's leave room for late drama.
Okay.
The second half teaser
with the ScottishSun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Didier Agathe and Paul Hartley. I have been managed by Ian McCall and Alan Pardew. I won my only major honour in Scotland and I captained the team to victory. I've never played a professional game for a club in the country of my birth. I am Stuart Lovell.
Stuart Lovell, well done if you got that right. I thought that was really tough today, but nothing gets past you because you know it all. Graham McLaughlin in third place. Well done to you, Graham. Craig Meikle was a little bit quicker in second, but the winner, Ben, no surname, just Ben. Well done to you, the winner of the second half teaser. You knew your Stuart Lovell stuff, and you can take the bragging rights away until next week. What was the clue that did it for you?
There are a few. Alan Padrew was Reading, I think. Ian McCall, Cooney South, Livingston Cup, and Australian didn't play in Australia.
Phil, thanks for clearing that up.
Never mind about that. Who won the fight between you and Stuart?
There was only one winner.
What was it over?
It was a dispute that he got wrong, and he come on and tried to tell me that he was right and he was wrong. But listen,
we
made up. We're very good friends.
His PFA days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Stuart was representing.
And then
PFA
Wisher come on the phone. He settled everything down. He was a calm collective. You know, Fraser. Come on, Daz, please.
That's because Fraser knows how to deal with your nonsense. I suspect.
I'll get you a wee glass of red.
I was in our Airdrie days. That's when I was grateful I had a director of football just to pass that on to him.
Take the heat off you.
And he was fuming when he came in the office. I loved those days. Brilliant.
That was a good moment.
4 minutes added at Tynecastle. Is there to be a late Motherwell equaliser there? The full-time whistle's going down the leagues already. Guthrie on for Yengi for Livy as they look to hang on. 5 added at Celtic Park.
I can only imagine the nerves, not only for the players, the fans obviously. It's tough, but if you're a player, you're looking up at the scoreboard. It's about game management now. It's not about trying to be sparkling and play nice football. You are in a genuine title race.
Fraser Wishart's been in touch. His recollection of it was like giving a child a lollipop to calm down. It sounds about right, I would say. We do have a late goal at Tynecastle.
Come on,
late drama, is it? Or is it Hearts putting it beyond all doubt?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's Hearts putting it beyond all doubt. It's Kenneth Vargas. Hearts' wonderful run continues. It's a spin and a shot across Liam Kelly, and the Jambos are absolutely flying. They're going to win this one. No points for Motherwell in the capital today.
6 league wins on the bounce. Can't say fair on that.
Do you know the worst of it is the results that are going there? Aberdeen, how is Motherwell down to 9th again? Dropped down 2 places. That's a sore one.
Goal at Celtic Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's an equaliser for Kilmarnock. It's David Watson. We said he scored on his last trip there. He's come off the bench and it is level. What a big goal that could be in the title race. Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1.
Well, you can put an asbestos covering over that telephone, because at 5 o'clock it's going to be red hot. The draw is a disaster. They have fallen into the trap at the first sign of pressure. Rangers beating Ross County midweek, and although failing to go top, level with Celtic, and Celtic have blown it at the first opportunity. The Rangers fans will be absolutely delighted. They'll go to Perth tomorrow ecstatic. By the end of that game, Rangers will be 2 points ahead of Celtic at the top of the league. You can tell me now about narratives. You can tell me now about people talking about crisis and what this city's like and how this, that and the other. Celtic have blown it big time.
VAR is checking it. Well, that's, that's part of the course these days, though. It is checking it for a foul. And that will be an extra layer to the drama. So we'll have to wait and see. It's checking for a foul in the build-up, in the attacking phase of play, as it is known. We were deep into the 5 minutes added on there as well at Celtic. But listen, what you meant to do, you've got to commit. You've got to act like the goal's been scored, or you suck all the drama out of it.
Regardless of VR, you've got to say with the reports, the last 5-10 minutes, it sounded like it was building, it was coming. A couple of chances for Kelly.
VAR check. Goal given. Level at Celtic Park. What a dramatic end to this game, and what a big moment that could be for the season.
Listen, I said just before half time, Derek McInnes, although he'll be unhappy with the fact that they're losing 1-0, he's got players now on the bench that can come on and turn a game for him, and that's exactly what's happened. I said that Celtic would have been feeling good about themselves, a clean sheet, and they would have, because it would have got them the 3 points. But once again, questions of their defence, and take nothing away from Watson. He's put the ball in the back of the net where it counts.
Well, Alejandro Bernabe felt he was pushed in the back. The referee or the VAR didn't accept that was a clear and obvious error, and the goal has stood. So what a dramatic end. Celtic fans, give us a phone. What do you make of that? I suppose some will reckon the Celtic left back just needs to be a bit stronger in that regard. Let's go full time. Tynecastle, Roger Hannah's there.
Hearts 2, Motherwell 0, a double in the second half from Lawrence Shanklin and Kenny Vargas, taking Hearts' incredible run to 11 wins and a draw in the last 12 games and cementing them in third place. They're on their way to European football next season. Motherwell started reasonably brightly. Jack Vale had a chance at either end of the first half. In 3 minutes he fired across the face of Xander Clark's goal, and then in 37, after being freed by Harry Payton, he fired wide when he really should have hit the target. Stephen Naismith's response was a double change at the break. Nathaniel Atkinson and Vargas coming on for Limby Kisa and Beningame, and they looked far better in the second half. Motherwell had a couple of half chances. Lennon Miller heading over from a corner, but Alan Forrest was denied by Liam Kelly. Shanklin then had a drive that was deflected off target. The breakthrough was coming, and it came finally in 67 minutes. A free kick from Forrest floated in, and there was Shanklin in acres of space to head his 25th club goal of the season past Kelly. Motherwell's defence really should have kept a tighter rein on him. Substitute Vargas, he hit the post with a spectacular effort from Atkinson's cross just moments later. Motherwell threw everything at it. On went Opeka, on went Nicholson, on went Ferry. Payton had a drive deflected wide, but with Motherwell pushing forward, Hearts always carried a danger in the break. Kelly had to save from Forrest again, and then in the second of 4 added minutes, the Jambos sealed the points. Kenny Vargas spinning in the box and shooting across Kelly and inside the far post. Motherwell claiming for a foul in the build-up to the goal. The two benches were going at it. Stuart Kettlewell and Hearts number 2 Gordon Forrest both booked, but the goal stood. Everything's going the Jambos' way at the minute. Hearts 2, Motherwell 0.
Good win for the Jambos. Their brilliant run continues. A chance for Kilmarnock to win it, saved by Joe Hart. Fraser Murray with the chance to take all 3 points for Kilmarnock. It looked like they were going to go home with none. They've left it late. David Watson equalising, and then Fraser Murray with the chance to snatch it. What an afternoon in the East End of Glasgow, Hugh.
Yeah, stand by, get your tin hat on, because the Celtic fans are coming on, and what they're coming on to say is that the team's lightweight. The team does not have enough players of stature to get them through what they have to get through now, and I don't care what anyone says, they have been going that way since the end of the winter break. The Ross County performance, booed off the park, dropped a point at Pittodrie, then got away with it at Easter Road. A belated penalty kick got them out of jail there, and St Mirren rode their luck at times.
Full-time Celtic Park, Gabriel.
Full-time Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1, boos ringing around the stadium at the full-time whistle after David Watson's 90th minute equaliser cancelled out Kyogo's first half header. What a massive goal that could prove to be in the title race. Celtic have left the door open for Rangers to move 2 points clear at the top of the league tomorrow. And in the first half, Celtic played well enough. They moved the ball with a bit of purpose. They were camped outside of Killy's box for a long time, and the pressure eventually broke the visitors down. Anthony Ralston, with a lovely floated ball, stood up at the back post of Kyogo, who managed to find space and head the ball back across the goal to make it 1-0. Matt O'Reilly had a double chance on the stroke of half-time. First volley was saved, and then a header was cleared off the line. He will have been kicking himself. It wasn't 2 before the interval. And thereon, it seemed pretty straightforward. Celtic 1-0 up, just had to see the game out. But they started to slow in the second half, Gordon. They allowed Killy back into this game. First, it was defender Joe Wright, who had a good header saved from an in-swinging free kick. Then Danny Armstrong spurned a chance at the back post. The warning signs were there for Celtic, but they didn't do anything about it. The crowd around me started to get jittery. The players did too, and suddenly it felt like a backs-to-the-wall performance. Derek McInnes' game plan to stay in the game, working to perfection. All they needed was one chance, and after throwing on plenty of firepower from the bench, their golden opportunity finally came. It was good work from Fraser Murray down the left-hand side, across deep into the box. And there was David Watson, the teenager, to head in at the far post, scoring here just like he did a few months ago. That was deep into stoppage time, Gordon, and you could just sense the energy sap out of the stadium. A huge result for Killy. Another massive point and another brilliant performance in a big game. They stay fourth, and their quest for European football is well and truly on. But what about this for Celtic? They'd won 8 out of 9 coming into the game. Brendan Rodgers had questioned the negative narrative surrounding his team, but it is only going to turn up now, Gordon. Winning is the most important thing at this time of the season, and Celtic have failed to do it. What a huge moment in the campaign. Full-time at Parkhead with boos surrounding the players as they go around the pitch. Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1.
Wow, what a result in the East End of Glasgow. Celtic fans, how would you sum up your feelings after that? Call us right now, 0141 951 1025. What did you make of the performance? How damaging do you fear this could be come the end of the season? There's been so much said about where the team is at in recent weeks, but it is drop points. 0141 951 1025. Call us right now and let us know how you are feeling. Bizarrely, no other full-time whistles yet. Oh, sorry, Dundee, Fraser Wishart.
Dundee 2, Ross County 0. A deserved win for the home side, Gordon. 2 goals by Scott Tiffany in either half the difference. County, though, did have their own chances and played quite well, but couldn't convert their pressure and their chances into goals. A good first 45 minutes to watch. Chances at both ends. Lyle Cameron was the man most likely for Dundee. A few efforts, and Wiccan's save at full stretch. He tipped a fierce shot from 25 yards by the Dundee midfield player wide in the 3rd minute. The closest the midfielder came to scoring. County had their own chances. Brophy and Murray lively. Carson saved from both. His best was a point from a point blank. Murray 6-yard header. Great reflex of a big keeper to turn the ball away. But the opener came right on 45 minutes. Dan Costello slid a lovely pass in behind the Ross County defence. Scott Tiffany used his pace, quick on it, 1-1, and showed great composure. He just rolled the ball low past the goalkeeper Wickens into the back of the net. County started the second half brightly. Dundee defending well, 3 blocks, clearing headers. They almost got the second, though, Dundee in 52 minutes. Luke McCowan given too much room in the middle of the park to line up his shot. 25 yards out, he struck it sweetly. It was heading for the top corner just at the last minute. It had come off the outside of his boot. It just curved away and just inches wide of the goalkeeper beaten. And Dundee could have done with that comfort of that second goal. County knocking at the door, looking for that equaliser. Brophy inches over with a well hit 20-yard shot. But the second goal did come in the 66th minute. Cameron tried to feed the ball into Bakayoko, and Aina intercepted the ball. It fell to Tiffany, who quite cleverly took a touch. He was going to pass it back to Bakayoko, who'd have been offside, but instead he drilled a low shot from 20 yards. The ball skidded off the wet surface and into the net despite a touch from Wickens. That knocked the stuffing out of County, who'd played well. A stringer sub by both sides. County sub Josh Sims shot a yard wide, but you didn't feel they were ever going to grab a lifeline, and Dundee saw the game out currently, much to the delight of their supporters. Excellent season continues. They're now in a tail of St Mirren and Kelly in the top 6 with a game in hand. But for County, they've got a huge game next week against Livy. Just 3 points between the teams. Full time at Dens Park. Dundee 2, Ross County 0.
Finished at Pittodrie, Dave Galloway.
Yes, Aberdeen 2, Hibs 2, and what a game we were treated to here this afternoon in front of a huge crowd. Hibs going ahead after 12 minutes. Myzian Maulida slipped in Martin Boyle, who went round Kelleroos to very coolly slot the ball home. That lead lasted just 3 minutes. Bojan Majovski's volley parried by David Marshall, and Nicky Devlin forced the ball in. Open and competitive stuff with a few meaty challenges going in just for good measure. Hibs keeper Marshall slapped away a dangerous corner whipped in by Connor Barron, and also came off his line very well to deny Majovski, who raced through the middle. The away side looking dangerous coming forward, as were Aberdeen, and Leighton Clarkson slid to meet Majovski's cross only to see the ball hit the bar. However, Hibs went close with Maulida's shot from a tight angle, forcing a decent save out of Roos. 6 minutes into the second half and the Dons went 2-1 up. Duke did very well to set up Leighton Clarkson. He picked out Jamie McGrath, who showed excellent composure to slot into the net from a few yards out. It was 2-2 though on 67 minutes after yet another VAR review. Really good work by Joe Newell down the left, and he found sub Emiliano Marcondes, whose fine, emphatic finish was originally flagged up for offside, but that was overturned. Hibs lost David Marshall to injury following his save from Bojan Majovski's swivel and shot, with Jojo Wallacott replacing him after a few minutes treatment for Marshall. Hopefully he's okay though. He was led off the pitch with not too much difficulty. There looked to be nothing between the teams, and Newell's cross found Marcondes, but he headed straight at Roos. And then deep into injury time, Aberdeen really should have won it. Majovski just had to do a whole lot better at the back post from Jack McKenzie's cross. But overall, a really cracking contest in front of an attendance of over 18,000. It finished Aberdeen 2, Hibs 2.
I can see the phone lines lighting up. Celtic fans reacting to that result. They're going to come very, very soon. So get your thoughts over on 01419511025. Last but not least, it's finished in Livingston. David Friel.
Yeah, full time, Livingston 1, St Mirren 0. I've never seen Livy fans happier. David Martindale just did his very own version of the Ronnie Roar Gordon. He's a happy man. It's finally happened. After over 4 months, Livingston have won a league match. They've gone 17 games without picking up 3 points, but Tete Yengi's winner ended that horrible run. They're now just 3 points behind Ross County, with the teams meeting next weekend. Livingston, I think we've all written them off as relegation certainties, but David Martindale's side are certainly now in the mix to stay up. Special mention to Shamal George as well. He made a huge penalty save from St Mirren's Mikael Mandron. First half was pretty quiet for 47 minutes. There wasn't even really a clear-cut chance, but then Yengi put Livy ahead. Ayo Obalai's low shot was parried out by Zach Hemming. Yengi slammed the rebound high into the net. St Mirren came out, dominated the second half. They almost levelled in their first attack. Mandron thwarted by George. Greg Kelty follow-up, headed off the line by Michael Nottingham. St Mirren just kept pushing. They had loads of pressure, but Livy defended so well until 76 minutes. Toyosi Olasanya on as a sub. He went down under a David Carson tackle. Referee Ewan Anderson was sent to check it at VAR screen. He gave a penalty. Mandron took the ball. One of the weakest penalties I've ever seen. Shamal George made a great save. Up the other end, Stephen Kelly almost made it 2-0 with a lob. It was getting really tense. David Martindale got booked. Mandron then missed one of the biggest sitters you'll ever see, right at the death. In at the back post, completely unmarked, somehow fired wide. Livy, they had to put all their bodies on the line, but they held on for that precious win and are now full of belief that they can stay up against all the odds. Full time, Livingston 1, St Mirren 0.
01419511025. What a day of Scottish Premiership action. It's changed again at the top because Celtic have stretched their lead, but by 1 point, held at home to Kilmarnock, and I can see the phone lines lighting up. You Celtic fans, what did you make of that? 01419511025. We'll get you on next.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
What a day it was in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic thought they were cruising to that 3 points, but Kilmarnock had other ideas late on, and it's Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1. Big wins for the likes of Hearts, a huge win for Livingston, a share of the spoils, Aberdeen and Hibs. But there's only one place to start because Colin is a Celtic fan. How do you feel tonight after that, Colin?
I'm absolutely disgusted what's going on at Celtic. I'm absolutely livid beyond belief. I was with my pal tonight, his name's Scott, and the 2 years left at 85 minutes, and we said, that's it, we've got 3 points in the bag. pressure's back on Rangers tomorrow, and you can hear my voice. I am absolutely livid. Brendan Rodgers has to walk tonight. Oh, that's it. The league is 110% done.
Well, the one guarantee you have, Colin, as livid as you are, Brendan Rodgers will not walk tonight. That will not happen. But I do understand that your disgust midweek when Rangers beat Ross County, and there was a great song and dance about them not scoring enough goals to go top. But they had then gathered the same number of points as Celtic, having played the same number of games. And at the first hurdle thereafter, Celtic have fallen. And they have fallen because of the bad transfers that have taken place. They finished up with Bernabe at left back, and he was partly responsible for the loss of the equalising goal. Celtic didn't do enough to try and get a left back. And they are full of lightweights like Yang and Kuhn and O and all the rest, Paulo Bernardo, and that's why Rangers are now red hot favourites to win the title.
Did you see that coming, Colin? Because there's been a bit of a divide in recent weeks where some people are saying that this is over the top. Everyone's been too negative about Celtic. They're top of the league, Brendan Rodgers amongst them, and other people saying no, but there was a 7-point lead, there's now not, performances are not good enough. Which one were you in? Did you see this coming?
I seen it a mile away. Brendan Rodgers should have never... I tell you what, I'm not disgusted I would take Michael Beale into Celtic. That's how bad Brendan Rodgers is.
You're at it. That's the emotion talking, I would suggest.
But listen, Colin, could I just say one thing to you? 5 minutes ago you said to us that you'd left the ground after 85 minutes thinking points in the bag. So you decided Celtic had won anyway.
Oh, they have it now, have they?
No, but you left the ground believing that's it, I've seen enough. That's the points in the bag.
Yes, I did, because...
Therefore, you got it wrong as well.
Right, Colin's in despair at that. What about Frank, who's on the line? Frank, how would you, if I was to ask you to keep it clean but sum up how you feel after that performance, what would you say?
Yeah, same as Colin, absolutely disgusted. I think the worst decision Celtic made this season was bringing Rodgers back. It's been the worst transfer we've ever had as far as I'm concerned, and I agree with Colin. I think the guy needs to walk tonight. He's taking us backwards. I've lost half a shift going to watch this draw he's put out today, and I'm not happy with it. I was on twice last week talking to you about the very same thing, and your pal Mr. Keevins slated me for it. But as I say, I'm sticking by my word. He needs to walk tonight. There's no ifs or buts about it. Rodgers definitely needs to go. He's taking us backwards.
What, I mean, in terms of the likelihood of that, Frank, with a team being top of the league, and I know it might not be for long, right? But is he seriously going to walk when the team's at the top of the league, I suppose, is what I'm asking?
We're only top of the league tomorrow.
Yeah, I do get that, Hugh, but it just feels like there are degrees of crisis, and the Celtic fans might feel like they see something coming, but are we really in that territory?
Gordon, I have to give you one man's opinion. My opinion. You can laugh, roll down a hill, do what you like. He won't go tonight, but it's crisis time, because the fans are telling you so. The booing at the end of the game. They'll be 2 points behind Rangers by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. They've still got to go to Ibrox. They're away to Motherwell next week. I wouldn't put 2 bob on Celtic winning Motherwell next week. I repeat, shocking transfer window, 2 of them. Lightweights brought into the club, and they are now paying the price for serious misjudgment. And the people, the recruitment staff, and the Brendan Rodgers have let the club down in that regard.
Frank?
Aye, they have, definitely. But as I say, Mr. Rodgers needs to pack his bags tonight and never be seen anywhere near Parkhead again. He's an absolute disgrace. He's took us backwards for day one when he came back. To lose the gap that we had, that should never have happened. That league should have been done and dusted for Christmas. And if he thinks I'm going to be paying good money every week to go and watch that draws, they can ram their season ticket. Honestly, it's absolutely shocking. Never seen anything like it. There was not one player on that park today would have got pass marks in any team, not even a junior team.
What annoyed you most about the performance? Anyone in particular?
What annoyed me most, 3 minutes before the full-time whistle, before the 90 minutes, Brendan Rodgers stoning and laughing. That's what annoyed me. Brendan Rodgers, he was on every screen in Parkhead, stoning and laughing. Don't know what he was laughing at, because it's no funny.
The cruel thing about this city is half of them will disagree with that last sentiment, I'm sure, because Frank is very annoyed, shall we say.
Yeah,
Brendan Rodgers should not have smiled before the end.
Oh, he shouldn't, because let me tell you, Celtic fans and everybody concerned will pick it up and hold it against them. I said at the beginning of the show that Brendan Rodgers was quite right to come out and defend his corner, fight his case, say what he has to say, be bullish about it. I agreed with that. But
it does set you up for this stuff, though, then, doesn't it?
What I'm going to say, Gordon, is when you do that, you have got to back up. You've got to back up with a result against Kilmarnock. When they were 1-0 up, I'm thinking, right, okay, the positives for Celtic would be there wasn't the 2-3 that Celtic fans wanted. 3 points, it's a clean sheet. The goal they gave away, nothing against Kilmarnock, but defending is absolutely ridiculous.
His entire press conference yesterday was a mass exercise in deflection. He went on about those who try to insinuate that there's a crisis. There is now. And this city and the way it conducts itself, well, this is the city. Get on with it. And he couldn't stand the pressure. Day one after Rangers had gone level with Celtic. At one point he even said there was never a stage when Celtic were 7 points clear at the top. Factually incorrect. So he spent the whole afternoon deflecting, and it's all come back now dramatically to bite him in a sensitive area.
The only thing I'll do is just quickly before Mark comes in. The only thing I will say, Hugh, and I totally agree about Brendan Rodgers, agree with the guys coming on and being angry at the manager and whatever, right? But I still look at the bigger picture and I look at the quality player they've still got in that pitch at Celtic Park. Should be good enough to go and keep a 1-0, you know, even though they've not been at their best. Let's get quality players there. You can keep pointing the finger at Brendan Rodgers, and I totally understand style of play, and he's the one that's standing out there. He takes the brunt of it. But sometimes the players got off too lightly for me.
Yeah, but listen, look at the back four. Bernabe, I mean, the fact that he gets any part of the game at the moment is ridiculous, because he doesn't merit being on the park at all. Scales and Welsh are honest to goodness plodders, but Celtic spent £7.5 million on Lagerbielke and Nawrocki, who never even make the bench now, because the last two transfer windows have been devoted to shoveling millions of pounds down the gurgler.
Have you given up all hope of this title already, Frank?
Definitely. They'll go tap tomorrow and they'll stay top. The way we are playing, we'll be lucky to finish third.
See, this
is
where
absolute disgrace. What's annoying me more is the fact that Celtic have got all that money sitting in the bank. Sack Rodgers tonight, pay him what they need to pay him to get rid of him, get him out the door. They've got the money to do it.
It would cost Celtic.
Just quickly, this is where you know that there is that heightened sense of it. Celtic will not finish third, right?
No, of course not. No.
Let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
But Mark, there's a lot of strong feelings out there.
I know. Let's just be clear. That's over the top stuff. How can there be a crisis? We're far from a crisis just now. Celtic have played poorly in that last 45 minutes. They've not lost the game. They were really poor in that 45 minutes, and they could have lost it. So I get the anger and the frustration and the raw emotion from fans going along and not being happy because Rangers are riding their coattails, and it's the first chance, or the second chance should I say, that Rangers have got to overtake them. But people saying Rodgers should walk tonight, come on.
Mark, you're a Celtic fan, and you're not worried.
But that's different.
That's different.
And that's why the fans are coming. Listen, that's anger, right? Okay, some of them will mean it, but most of them will realise. And Hugh's right about the cry. It is a little bit, because everybody thought Celtic had this league tied up. No doubt about it. So did I, to be quite honest with you.
But did you really? The league tied up in September, October.
Until the
I
Rangers
think there was a lot of you
come.
saying there that there was a lot of mileage still left in this when Beale left. A lot of you saying that.
I don't think you can underestimate the severity of this result today. They have, at the first sign of pressure, crumbled, and they don't have players who are good enough to come back from this. The lightweights don't come back from this. And the central defensive pairing, as I said, honest to goodness plodders, but £7.5 million wasted on two players who'll now have to be got rid of somewhere if Celtic can manage it.
Final word to you, Frank. Sum it all up then before we let you go.
He's got to go, no doubt about it. Pay him, put the home on his contract, get him out the door. That's all I'm going to say about it. Don't want the guy back again.
Well, I think you can tell Frank's emotional about it all. What about Chris on the line? How would you sum it up, Chris?
Oh, Gordon, honestly, man, I can't believe that I've been watching. Absolutely disgraceful. Honestly, Frank's absolutely spot on. He needs to go tonight. I know it won't happen. If he's got anything about him, he'll walk tonight. That was disgraceful. I'm listening to Mark going on there saying that second 45 minutes. Apart from that, the first half was as bad as the second half. They were disgraceful, shocking, same rubbish every single week, side to side, back, side to side. Honestly, I don't know what I'm watching, and I don't know how he can watch it and be happy with what he's watching. It's terrible. The guy needs to go. Simple as that.
I mean, Brendan Rodgers spent this week saying, the outside narrative, the negativity was coming from elsewhere, but it certainly sounds, Chris, like a lot of Celtic fans are not happy.
I couldn't tell you one guy that can be happy got to the Celtic games and watching that. There can't be. There cannot be. Like I heard you saying there as well. I know you're not saying it, but you're saying, Celtic are still top of the league. They had a 7-point lead, and tomorrow Rangers will go top of the league. You know what I mean? It's terrible, man. Shocking. I can't believe this is where we've got to under Brendan Rodgers, who we thought at the time was the best guy for the job. He's not the best guy for any job. Get him out now. Yeah, for the record, I mentioned Celtic being top, not as if that's going to make anyone feel better, but in response to or to float the suggestion of, is it likely that a manager walks whilst top of the league? That's all I mean. I'm not saying Celtic fans tonight should go, oh yes, we're still top.
I think first of all, I as ever on this programme, the fans are good enough to call us, and we're appreciative of their calls. But forget Brendan Rodgers walking tonight. It will not happen. But Celtic are in deep trouble, and if you deny that they are in deep trouble tonight, then that's what you're suffering from. Denial. Because Rangers will be 2 points clear by 2 o'clock tomorrow. The next Old Firm game's at Ibrox. With the way the Celtic defence is, I would shudder to think what the outcome might be. They are, and I repeat, lightweight from back to front.
Chris, are you confident you still feel like this Monday morning? Is this the emotion talking?
No, it's not. Honestly, Gordon, I'm angry just now. But I've been even the Ross County game a couple of weeks ago, we won 1-0. I think it finished, and I was this angry then. Nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. I don't know how they can watch that and be happy with they see what Brendan Rodgers puts out there. It's terrible. They don't play any kind of football. I watched for 10 minutes. Kilmarnock had just penned in our own box, and Matt O'Reilly played a ball for right back to Joe Hart in the centre of the goal, and he just got it away in time. I'm like, what am I watching here? What is it I'm watching? It's crazy stuff, honestly.
What do you think out there? Are you agreeing with Chris? There's a lot of passionate stuff coming in on these phones, and there's plenty more where that came from.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
A lively start to the phone lines tonight, and that is because Celtic drop points at home to Kilmarnock. They are still top 4 now, but a huge opportunity for Rangers. Any victory tomorrow would do it against St Johnstone in Perth. 01419511025. Kieran, how are you feeling tonight? Kieran, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you. How you doing?
Yeah, all good. How are you?
Not great, I'll be honest with you.
Who's to blame today?
Brendan Rodgers, definitely. Absolutely terrible.
Did players ever take any responsibility, Kieran?
See, to be honest with you, they should, but they never do. But the be all and end all is the buck stops with the manager. I'll not sleep tonight. I think it's absolutely ridiculous what he's doing to our club. My season ticket will be gone. It's a shambles, absolute shambles.
That balance, Gordon, I mean, I'm not up to me. I don't really mind who the Celtic fans think is to blame, but you do wonder about some of those players, and then whether it does then come back to recruitment. You look at Burnaby, how weak it is for the goal. There was a claim for a push. I don't think anyone seriously thinks he was pushed beyond the realms of what is and isn't allowed under the rules. Just the players need to give a lot more as well.
I think so, but I think it's a full package. I think we can pinpoint a lot of things: recruitment, transfers, the players that have come in. Nicholas Kuhn comes in for a lot of money. Hugh goes on about it, quite rightly so, about the centre backs. A lot of money paid out, not being seen. There's a lack of sharpness about the team just now, especially at Celtic Park. Ross County booed off. Today, Kilmarnock probably could have great opportunity to win it at the end. Joe Hart pulls off a good save. It's not the fast flowing football Celtic fans are used to, so their anger's getting vented now at the manager. The manager came out this week and puffed his chest out and, you know, was talking a lot about the negativity round about. The negativity tonight is coming from Celtic fans, Gordon, not the media, not the pundits, not the people that are sitting in here. The Celtic fans have had enough. They've come on. Everyone that's come on so far want Brendan Rodgers out. I'm agreeing with the lads. Brendan Rodgers will still be the manager, but he has got a massive job to do to lift everyone.
How do you sum up the performance, Kieran?
Listen, do you know what? The performance was absolutely dreadful. But if you want to go back to, you mentioned Burnaby, he's not fit to wear a Celtic shirt. He's absolutely dreadful. And if you want to go back to Brendan Rodgers as well, I agree he won't leave. He should, but he won't. And to be honest with you, he's just a salesman. All his interviews, everything, it's just trying to deflect. And do you know what? Us Celtic fans, we're not buying it. It's an absolute shambles.
I mean, Mark, again, we will swing from detail to big picture because you can't help it. I don't really want to go over the transfer window again right now because we've done it a million times, but it's evident on the pitch when you watch it. Don't want to hang one guy out to dry because there was loads, but Burnaby clearly plays a key part in the goal conceded. Should he be Celtic's second choice left back? Should he be playing as much as he is? Because you've not got anyone else when Greg Taylor is either injured or returning from injury as he was today.
No, he shouldn't be. And I hate being harsh on players because I know how difficult people think it's easy playing for Celtic and you've got a lot of the ball. I know how difficult it is, but I hate being harsh. But with Burnaby, no, the answer is no, he shouldn't be. Now that's a failing on the part of recruitment, Brendan Rodgers himself, not bringing someone in. But when you get given the jersey and you get put on, you have got to be more resolute than Burnaby is. Now I made a joke when Burnaby was coming on for Taylor. I said, you'll get entertainment one way or the other. It's a bit chaos coming on. So I knew he would do something. I just didn't know what side of the pitch it was going to be at.
In hindsight, it's not the entertainment you were looking for.
No, but I knew there was something that was going to transpire with him coming on. And I mean, so weak defensively. If you look at the goal, you know what I think that is from? And I've been in that position a lot of times. That's lazy defending. That's, I don't want to challenge for this ball. I feel a wee bit of pressure on me, so I'm just going to hope that the ref gives a push. That's lazy defending.
And do you know something? You're talking about, like, I've tried to defend this guy week in, week out, because I just think that players that come in to Celtic and Rangers, we judge them after 2 or 3 games. I think that's a bit unfair, so try and give. But also, when you look at Burnaby, he's not coming the cheap. He's come in for a few quid as well, Gordon. So if you're a Celtic fan there and you sit and you calculate up the amount, and Celtic fans, we've got so much money. Look at the money that Celtic have put down the drain.
Look at the January window. Could
make this bit short just so we can not go over old ground too much, right. But it is valid.
Could £3 million worth of not good enough. And the Norwich City sub, who is good at taking penalties and won't make it at Celtic. That was your January transfer window.
Let's bring in Tom, who's on the line. Tom, how would you sum it up?
Yeah, you said we do.
Good.
Today, far from ideal, but I just have to say we're still top of the table, and this isn't over by a long shot. Let me tell you that.
Do you think all this stuff is a bit over the top, Tom?
Guys, over the top. It's absolutely crazy. The Celtic fans need to get a grip. The sense of entitlement we get from this mob, week in, week out, and I'm there with the boys, home and away, and I see it. I see the hatred for the players, for the team. Why would the players want to go and put on a show the Celtic way with that baying mob, baying for blood? It's honestly, it's beggars belief.
I mean, I can't speak on behalf because I don't have that emotional attachment, Tom, but the ones that you say are entitled I think they would say in response that this is more about the regression and failing to build from a position of strength and all that sort of stuff. Not buying any of that.
I do buy it, you know. I see their point, I take their point, but I say back to the boys, the chants towards the end, towards the board, they're a bit disrespectful. They need to understand that's the same board that gave us trebles, quadruple trebles. and presented players such as Larsson in their day, you know. Larsson, Sutton, Lennon, all the old boys, all the biggies. And of course, you ever served up a little bit of a poor calibre of players just now, but I just think it's not over by a long shot. We're still at the top of the league. People need to realise that this is not over.
Probably, and nothing's guaranteed, but probably only until tomorrow, though. So tomorrow night, you drop that defence?
Guys, the Super Jays is a hard place to go.
It's true, listen, I don't know. I don't predict matches, but I think on paper, clearly, Hugh, people expect Rangers to win.
Rangers will be top by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Tom's use of the expression, that being mob pay the same price for their season ticket as Tom and are entitled to hold an opinion. They may hold it in a more vociferous way than Tom cares for, but that's the fact of the matter. That being mob pay the same price for their ticket. This, for me, the one about chanting against the board, that's just an old football cliche. Fans of all clubs do that. The board appoint people to look after the playing side, the manager and the head of recruitment. The manager and the head of recruitment, to one degree or another, have brought in 12 players over 2 transfer windows, and not one of them, not one, will be a long-term player at Celtic Park.
Where I'll agree with Tom just quickly, I think Rangers will win tomorrow, go top of the league like everybody else. I think the pitch up there's terrible, but I just think they've got enough quality. I agree with Tom the fact that I don't think this is the end of the league for Celtic, but I agree with the fans that have come on and had a real go at the players and the manager, that if they are going to stay in this title race, if they are going to beat Rangers to the title, things will need to improve massively now.
I like Tom's call purely because it's nice to hear the other side of it. It's been very much anger and frustration so far. Tom's trying to put a bit more of a calm perspective on things, which is fine as well. How does Paul feel?
Hi.
How's it going? How would you sum it up, Paul?
Well, I'm Brendan Rodgers' biggest fan and defender, but a couple of baffling decisions, Gordon, today. I couldn't understand why he wouldn't have put Scales at left back and bring Nabrowski on. And I know Hugh's going to say because he's not trusting him, but Kilmarnock played very well and they're a very good outfit, and Derek McInnes has got them with. They're full of a lot of seasoned pros. I thought, until Greg Taylor went off, Celtic were okay. They were in the game, but he brings Bernabe on, absolute disaster. No protection. Takes Maeda off, who's able to protect the fullbacks. The lad Kuhn will not even show for the ball. Now, you know I'm a Mikey Johnson fan, but at least you got him trying and showing for the ball. We've sent him out on loan and spent money on Kuhn to replace him. That baffles me. And the other more worrying thing is Mark Lawwell's get out of jail card used to be in the Cheshire suburbs. He would get as a Frimpong or a Guidetti or a Boyata, Patrick Roberts. There's no sign of any of that in terms of bringing quality in at the transfer. So, and apparently the chat is that Brendan Rodgers, everybody that's put in front of him, he rejected. But for him to put Bernabe on, it's just he can't even shield the ball. It's basic stuff that you're taught at schoolboy level, and it was always going to be a ploy to attack the left back area as soon as he came on.
This is not meant to be as unfair on Mikey Johnson as it's going to sound, but are things worse than we thought, Paul, if you're pining for Mikey Johnson? And I don't mean that, like I say, that sounds terrible, but he's not really made an impact that you would want in many, many years at Celtic, and now we're to believe that he can make a difference.
Well, what do you call him? Jota slipped out the door for $6.5 million without any comment whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, Jota could blow hot and cold, but you've lost Carter Vickers, you've lost Hatate, and Kyogo's a shadow of his former self. So the spine of the team has been decimated by one thing or another. That's not an excuse, that's just a fact. But to allow the exposure, I mean, you could see within 2 minutes of Bernabe been on the park, notwithstanding the crowd baying at him, that Kilmarnock were just targeting him. And why wouldn't you? It's like a schoolboy game. Honestly, basic stuff. And you know, I thought Callum McGregor was on it. I thought Greg Taylor was outstanding up till he went off, and as soon as he went off, I think that's more worrying. That as soon as Greg Taylor goes off, you lose your shape, and it just, you could see the goal coming. So more worried about his tactical nous, and you know, worrying that the get out of jail card that we always had with the City group seems to now have disappeared.
Well, if you want to hear the thoughts of Brendan Rodgers, you can hear them right here next.
You have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel have got their tin hats on. It has been a very, very lively open line so far, with still plenty of time to take more calls. And let's hear from Brendan Rodgers.
Well, it looked like up until the end that we'd get away with it, that it would be a good result on the back of a poor performance. But we didn't in the end. So, poor result, poor performance, and we lacked authority with the ball. We lacked composure and all the things that you need to do to control the game and look nervous on the ball, and you know, especially second half, created nowhere near what we would want to, you know. So give credit to Kilmarnock. It's, you know, they play a system that you have to really work, but you have to be good on the ball. They play man to man, so you have to be able to deal with the ball with pressure and be able to play forward and run forward, and we didn't do that enough today. Whatever comes our way today, we would deserve that. I've said it a number of times. We've played okay and got the results, and that momentum was building. You know, our last performance against St Mirren on a tricky pitch was a really professional, good performance. But today it wasn't that. So I feel for the supporters. I said to the players afterwards, there's kids that have travelled all around the country and across from Ireland and everywhere to come and see their heroes and dream of them being them one day. But that wouldn't inspire them for sure. It just wasn't anywhere near the level that we would want, sadly. So we have to accept that.
It's too late for the romantic hokum now. You can have all that talk about people coming over from Ireland. It's not washing. To talk about we nearly got away with it. You're not supposed to get away with it. You're supposed to build some form of momentum and put Rangers under at least some semblance of pressure in Perth tomorrow. None of that was achieved. I thought yesterday he sounded downbeat, and I've said before today that I thought he had a mass example of deflection with what he was saying yesterday, and today I think he knows the truth of the matter, and the truth of the matter is Celtic are bang in trouble.
What about John and Hamilton's take on it all, John?
Absolutely disgusting, guys. Good evening, sorry about that.
No, you carry on, don't worry.
I would have Rodgers out the door, the Mora, absolutely. I would have half that team out the door as well, but also I think the board need to stand up and take their fair share of the blame here, because they're sitting here with 75 million in the bank, stagnating their club and sending it back the way, when we should have been well ahead of Rangers for years to come with the money that we have, but we're actually going to be behind them come the Mora. To me, not good enough. Rodgers needs to go. The board need to take a long, hard look at themselves, and so do half of their players. You'll
have heard it before, John. You're entitled. You know, you expect no challenge. This is a title race. Get used to it. Why don't you buy any of that?
It's the same old. We hear from Brendan Rodgers week in and week out. You can take a look at that team. Most of our supporters have seen this coming, not just for the last couple of weeks, for the vast majority of this season. We've watched the team go backwards and play this tippy-tappy, sideways football that's just no suited to our team. And like Hugh says, we've got too many lightweights in there as well that just can't carry the ball. And we've been found out today, and we've been found out in previous encounters this season as well. And it's going to cost us the league if we don't stand up now. I'm not saying that this Rangers team are the greatest team, and there's still a fight there, but if Rangers had a decent team, we would be buried now. Absolutely buried.
Well, look, I can totally understand the fans being angry at today's performance and some of those performances along the line as well. But
Have there been many genuinely good ones?
Standout ones? No, not so much this season. On the previous couple of seasons, you could say, wow, that was good to watch, and it could have been much more. There's not been many of them this season. I agree with that. But are we really at the stage that fans would take the manager leaving and walking out or being sacked at this stage? Is that realistic? Is that, fans are entitled to their opinion. Of course they are. And this entitled thing, I do think there's something behind it. Celtic fans want the best football, the most entertaining and the most productive at the end of the day. Celtic have been years ahead of Rangers. Celtic should have been years ahead. Celtic have been years ahead of Rangers. But there's no guarantee that is going to last from now to the end of time.
To go back to John's point about £70 million in the bank and the board and what they are doing or not doing with it. Celtic spent the best part of £20 million over the last 2 transfer windows.
It's not the amount, is it? It's where it's going.
Yeah, exactly. And none of them are worth keeping. £20 million. They've already shipped out the hopeless cases, and there are more hopeless cases to go at the next transfer window, but they have spent money.
Yeah, as hopeless as they've been, Hugh, and these signings have been, Celtic still sit, will be at 1 point until tomorrow at the top of the league. So it's not been that hopeless.
Yeah, but what's the starting point though?
But
that's what people mean. Have they gone backwards? That's where the hopelessness. And again, that's a strong
from
word.
Ange Postecoglou's first season and second season, of course,
or from the 7-point lead that they had.
That's
where the anger's coming from.
Yeah, without doubt. But Rangers, Celtic have dropped points, gone backward. Performances haven't been good enough. At the same time, Rangers have got better. Surely that's to be expected sometime.
Like Celtic
from now to the end of history.
Celtic fans aren't angry that Celtic are top of the league, obviously, as you say, but they're angry that the last couple of months have looked like a regression.
Of course, I can understand that. The product on the pitch hasn't been good enough. The quality of player, I think, in the starting 11 and a couple of those that sit on the bench is still there, without doubt. But the performance, the standard of player.
Yeah. Who? The ones that they brought in the last 2 windows.
I'm not saying them. I said in the starting 11. You can't tell me Kyogo, Matt O'Reilly, Cal McGregor and Alistair Johnson, Carter Vickers if he's fit.
Well, that is obviously good players
enough.
There. I think that's
I think the biggest worry is you see Rangers with the new manager, they closed the gap. They were closing and closing and closing. I think the worry for Celtic is now if Rangers go top tomorrow and then this keeps going, Rangers will start going further and further and further away. Celtic couldn't manage that just now. I totally take on board what Mark's saying about the starting 11, whatever. Hugh's right, the amount of money that's been wasted is unbelievable for Celtic, but they need to change something very quickly or this title's slipping away.
But they can't. There's no transfer window, therefore they're stuck with what they've got, and what they've got is unsatisfactory.
Let's bring in Stephen and get his thoughts as well. Stephen.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. What are you thinking tonight?
I'm annoyed about one of the previous callers because he came on and he said, I pay my money just like everybody else. Folk are overreacting. Also, why would the players play when folk are booing them or they're getting annoyed? See, at the end of the day, these guys haven't just won a lucky dip and they're getting to play for their childhood team. They're getting paid thousands of pounds a week. If they can't try when they're getting paid thousands of pounds a week, when are they going to try? But at the same time, I also feel like it's not just we're not going to be top of the league tomorrow. I think it's on the bigger picture. It is to do with Celtic going out the cup, Celtic been poor in the Champions League again. The transfer window in the summer, the transfer window in January. It's the same old. It feels like the kind of COVID year all over again. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, because I think that is important, Mark, because you're talking about facts and league tables and points gaps until tomorrow, but sometimes there's a feeling, and you'll remember, I don't know if it's going to be the same, of course we don't, and that was very, very dramatic circumstances, but there was a feeling in the COVID season as Stephen says that this is just heading one way and one way only. Can that be reversed this time? We're a long way from that, obviously.
Well, that remains to be seen. If you're a Celtic fan, you'd like to think so. You'd like to think that the club as a whole is in a better position than it was that season. They've got better players running throughout the spine of their team than they did that season. So you've got to hope that it's reversible. But I totally take on board your point. There was a feeling that ran throughout that season that this was never going to get better. That culminated in fans gathering outside and ugly scenes for the players and the staff involved, and it resulted in Neil Lennon losing his job. So I can totally take that on board. But by the way, Stephen's right. The players haven't won a lucky dip. I said at the start of the show, when it gets to this period and you play for Celtic, you're analysed on your ability, but your character as well, to stand up to moments like they had today when they're 1-0 up to see you out the game. And unfortunately, I hate to single players out again, but Bernabei clearly showed a lack of desire at the back post. He'll claim that he was pushed, but we could all see that he wasn't. That's the problem. Too many of those performances from players throughout the season leads to where Celtic are at the minute.
You got faith that Brendan Rodgers turns this round, Stephen?
Again, I'm like other callers. I'm not going to say Brendan Rodgers out because it's not going to happen. Let's face it, these guys aren't going to walk away by getting sacked and walking away with a couple of million quid. You've just got to use your head. But is it going to be turned around? I don't know. It's hard to gauge because, as I said, the football's been pretty crap all year. It's not the same football we had the kind of 2 previous years with Ange. They really struggle to break down teams, and it's the same old every week. We're eating out these kind of 1-0 wins, and as Brendan Rodgers said, we thought we'd kind of get away with it. But every week for the last 4 or 5 or 6 weeks or whatever, it's the same old. We're getting away with it with 1 goal. And as Mark said there, Bernabei, 4 or 5 weeks ago he was crap, and he's on again. He's on every week, and it's the same. He's a bomb scare.
It's football. It's you're as I said, you have to be deal with. You have to deal with that. Obviously, there's an anxiety in the stadium, but it's nothing for the supporters today. They were great behind us, and this is on us, and we have to accept that was a poor performance.
Interesting though, Hugh, because what we still have to acknowledge, whilst everybody except Rangers are big favourites, I don't think many people will come on here and predict a St Johnstone win. It just shifts the pressure, it shifts the psychology, and now we find out if they can handle that. And then if, like you and everybody else expects they do, then you become the hunted rather than the hunter as well. So we're in for quite the ride between now and the end of the season by the looks of it.
But Rangers will be top by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and have for weeks shown that they have that kind of cunning about them, and they are growing in every respect.
So that's the point. I'm not saying they don't, but what we just haven't seen is what it's like when Celtic are chasing and Rangers are the one being chased. It's just an observation. I'm not for a second saying Rangers can't do it, but we've not had it yet. That's what I'm trying to say. It's new.
My observation is the manager Brendan Rodgers is beginning to sound as if he's lost, and he's beginning to talk in riddles, and the supporters are seeing right through it. They don't have the players of sufficient quality to withstand what is coming. And what is coming is a Rangers side who are only going to get stronger and stronger. And Celtic next week away at Motherwell on the Sunday, by which time Rangers will have gone 5 points clear of them, and therefore Celtic are now in a position where they need to stage a recovery, which I, on a personal level, don't think they have the players who are capable of doing so.
Not for a second suggesting, Gordon Dale, that you need any extra incentive, but if there was even 1% of a fan base or a player or whatever who was a bit uninspired about a trip to McDermott Park on a Sunday lunchtime, this changes things, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Rangers players, everybody concerned, they'll have a spring in their step for tomorrow, Gordon. Great opportunity. You get back to that big question. I think this is where the worry comes in from the Celtic side of it. They're going to be the chasers. Have they got the character? Have they got the players? Have they got everything about them to do that? That's the question mark they're now getting asked, and it'll be interesting to see if they can answer it.
Big day of football, big win for Livingston, big win for Dundee, big win for Hearts, a share of the spoils, Aberdeen, Hibs. But the big story at the top of the table, how big was today in that title race? Celtic slipping up, dropping points at home to Kilmarnock, a huge chance for Rangers at St Johnstone tomorrow. And whatever happens, we look back on it all from 6 o'clock on Monday. You will not want to miss it. Make sure you join us, and the GBX is up next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast
with Lucas Volvo. Book a test drive for the Volvo EX30 today. Head online for details.